Hey, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Happy Monday to everybody out there. It's a May. It's May. It's another birthday year for me coming up. My birthday's at the end of the month. There's so many May babies in my family. We just have baby. We have parties all month long. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. But hey, listen. Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo. You know, for all of you out there who celebrate that. And well, we got something for you today, which is pretty cool. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Just hit the like button. Even if you just like stumble on this thing, just go ahead and hit the like button. Leave a comment in the chat if you have something to say. Participate. I'll probably be dropping the link and all that kind of good stuff. We're talking a little bit of politics, but I'm gonna try to look at it, focus on the ideology as opposed to focusing on any political party. I kind of consider when you talk about conservatives and liberals, you don't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be synonymous with being a Democrat or a Republican. But there's a whole bunch of people who are fiscally conservative and socially liberal. There's a lot of people that way, and vice versa. So when you tie yourself to a party, we're going to get into that one way or the other. Unfortunately, we don't have a third party that's viable. I know they've been trying, but I think we should keep trying to knock down that wall because I think that's where our gray area really exists. So maybe we'll get to a year where we're not voting for the lesser of two evils. But anyway, so again, welcome aboard. Uh, don't forget to, support the channel, leave a super chat or whatever for the network. We're, still trying to build some stuff here. Keep banging up against that wall. One of these days it's going to fall. And so that's cool. And so there you have it. So, the purpose of why we're here, the title, The Rise of the Black Conservatives. I remember back every so often, we used to see Black Conservative, and the guy used to be some kind of Zeke Billigan, that everybody could make a fool of. But it's not true anymore. We're starting to see some very articulate Black conservatives emerge in the public square. You can't make fun of them because they know their politics, and they're making inroads, and they're pulling people off the plantation, which is a good thing. So it really matters that we start to move away from the group think when it comes to politics. And we're going to get into a little bit of that as we go. So as people just come in, I know my 7 o'clock slot, man, people like getting off of work, getting the cobwebs out, trying to get something to eat and saying, damn, man, you know what? It's only 7. If you're in the central time, it's 6. And if you're on the West Coast, it's, it's 4 o'clock or something like that. But still, the show must go on. And, but we'll be here for a while, maybe. I have, of course, like as usual, I have some clips that I was going to play. I probably won't play them all. Matter of fact, not probably. I'm not going to play them. I'll be judicious in what clips I play. And, and then whoever wants to come up, we can kind of talk because I like to see what other people's position might be on. Have we been making a mistake for the last, I don't know, 61 years since the Civil Rights Bill was signed? And I have a chart kind of outlining the 4 pillars of decay, I call them, of where we were back then to where we are now. Got a couple of things we could talk about with that. But first, and I want some folks to get in here before I do this. My preliminary video is something I showed before. It's a little cartoon about the difference between how people think if they're conservative and how they think if they're liberal. And I always thought it was useful because it's like a 3-minute clip. In a 3-minute clip, You just sit down here and say, oh, you know what? I fit into this category or I fit into the other category, but I like some of both. And therein lies the rub for many people. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. But that's the way life is. Nothing's perfect. So, when you try to fit something in, fit your ideas in a perfect box, there's always some outliers. There's always going to be some things you don't like. Then you have to weigh if the things that you do like can help you live with the things that you don't like. And, I guess that's life, right? Definitely that's life for all of us. So there you have it. Uh, oh yeah, so one thing I was going to also talk a little bit about is, um, how to look at the market when it perturbates and declines the way it has since early April and where it's at now. And how you could differentiate between how Wall Street thinks and how Main Street thinks. About the market. Because most people in America never bought a stock. The only reason why they know the stock market exists is somebody's investing their 401k plan in the market. And all they see is it go up and down and somebody else manages it. Whereas the people on Wall Street have a different view. They know how to make money in the market, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. So that's the kind of thing that is going on out there. So we're still waiting for some of our routine visitors to show up, and then we'll get started on showing the clip. Just and you put something in the chat saying, "Hey, I'm here," and how you doing, that kind of stuff. Because I know I don't see anybody just yet, but I do see some numbers coming, people passing through. So anybody just passing through, hit that like button, hit the like button. We'd really appreciate that. And stick around. Stick around. That's what we need to do. Have some people stick around. All right. All right. So listen. So let me just keep going. So a few months back, I showed this video where we were talking about conservatism and liberalism and what's the difference. And of course, you can find anything on YouTube, but I like this little video, so I'm going to play it, and you guys could watch it. And most people already know, but I just thought it'd be beneficial to play it again. So while we're waiting. All right.
When it comes to the social elements of the state, the two major ideologies that philosophers focus on are conservatism and liberalism. Conservatism is associated with beliefs that a country or state should hold tradition and custom as the most important aspects of their society. Conservatives do not like the idea of social change unless it is absolutely necessary. Conservatism basically favors long-standing traditions of culture, religious beliefs, or national defined beliefs.
I see.
Conservatism carries patriotism for the nation state and believes that our belonging to a nation with a history of beliefs and culture brings us and the people in our nation closer together. Our national identity, our social structures, norms, values have been built up over thousands of years through many generations to shape us and make us who we are, and conservatism believes this should be preserved and protected.
Yes, I understand. However, in the last century or so, we've seen radical social changes across the Western world. The whole world, in fact. As human beings, we're a creature that is always changing. We're learning, we're evolving. So, of course, there are going to be social changes because we as people are always changing.
Okay, but conservatism isn't against change completely, but rather it believes this change should be a slow or gradual process. It could be referred to as organic change. Conservatives understand there is a social change, but would like to control it and ease it in piece by piece so as to not disturb the wider web of society.
All right, so let me just stop it right there. If I had to ask you guys a question, over the last 61 years, and I use 61 because 61 years ago, the Civil Rights Bill was signed. And all kinds of things were going on through the 60s and the 70s, 80s, 90s, and where we are today. Do you think we're more of an evolutionary change in America, or has it been a revolutionary change? You know, so the guy who's a conservative is talking about a slow process of change. And the liberal just said, hey, listen, man, people, shit's moving at the speed of light, and you got to keep up. Right. So, I mean, this is food for thought. And this is where some of the ideologies start to clash. OK, at least that's how I see it.
It doesn't believe in radical change or any form of revolutionary change in a society.
Well, there has been radical change and revolutionary change in many parts of the world, and a lot of this has been beneficial. Conservatism is concerned with social culture, but there have been many cultures of oppression and subjugation around the world, and conservatives would argue that this still needs to be protected. It is because of this that I favour liberalism. Liberalism is based on the political philosophy centred around the individual. The individual should have as much personal freedom as possible, providing their freedom does not affect anyone else other than the individual. So for liberals, tradition and culture and custom are not important at all, and they see no value in upholding these. It is just...
So he says something clear there, right? He says, as long as the individual doesn't impose on other people's rights. Now, has that been true, right, of the liberal? Matter of fact, it's far from true. Matter of fact, the liberal tries to control what everybody else does. So we live under their guidelines. For example, using somebody's stupid ass pronouns when I want to just use the King's English, those kind of things, right? So, so maybe that might be the definition of individual rights, but they sure did violate whether it crosses that line into other people's territory. Right? Can't argue that.
It's down to what the individual wants, how the individual wishes to act.
Or us as Black folks, we're guilty of that too when we started getting some of our rights as well.
Or to dress or to live. It's all about personal freedom and giving each person the most amount of freedom possible.
Interesting.
In the last century or so, liberalism has really taken over in the Western world and shaped our beliefs of toleration and respect for all human beings, no matter how different they are.
Yes, okay, but liberalism does run into its own problems. If too much emphasis is put on personal freedom, nation-states may find themselves in a situation where all their citizens are completely different, where there is no national culture or common beliefs. Too much differentiation can break down our sense of community, togetherness, our sense of being one. We are then left with a nation of lots of individuals, but no unity or common beliefs or culture.
Yes, I see the argument.
Very, very short tape. But you can see that that's where we are. I mean, we have that battle going on right in front of us, and the stakes are very, very high. And for the most part, the liberals have definitely been winning. They have definitely been winning because change in technology, change in feminism, change in the way men have acquiesced their position of leadership in the world, in the West. The rise of alternative lifestyles, to just throw that out there. All kinds of stuff has weighed on any, social mores that we used to have, or cultural, what it is to be an American has changed. And then over the last 4 years, when we flooded the country with migrants, illegally or legally, we can't absorb that many people into whatever the culture might be. Right. So we have a battle of ideology going on. And finally, with Trump represents, I guess, the pendulum swinging back to where, the conservatives finally, or for the second time in his term, in his second term, says, well, we need to put some brakes on this unadulterated liberalism. And I can get behind some of that. I really can. I think we need to have some kind of cultural identity as Americans, because so many of us are diverse, right? By culture, by skin color, by language. It's supposed to be English, but we have plenty of people who speak more than one language here. And some people won't even speak English if they held up in their own towns, like Chinatown or Haiti Town or things of that nature, or somewhere, in the Russian part of Brooklyn. If you don't have to speak English, you're not going to do it. So anyway, so one of the things I have a problem with, and I think one of our problems in general as Americans, is that you have to, pretty much have to choose one party over another, right? And in the way I'm saying, here's where the problem is. If you're a Democrat and you have 5 initiatives, and you're a Republican and they have 5 initiatives, but you only like 2, right? You're a Democrat, you only like 2. You're a Republican, you only like 2. You're some kind of independent. You don't like all the initiatives on either side. If you cast your vote, right? Once you cast your vote for a Democrat, whether it's president, whether it's mayor or governor, you're essentially accepting all 5 of those tenets that party wants to have executed. On both sides. You might like 2 of them, you might hate the other 3, but you like your 2 better than you like the 2 on the other side. So there you have to accept the good with the bad when you vote. Now, I thought if we had a third-party candidate who can give you the 5 planks that you like a la carte, because they could take the best of the Democrats and the best of the conservatives and put it in and run as a third independent party where they don't lean, they go down the middle, so you'll have some conservative planks and you'll have some liberal planks and something that you could live with on both sides. And that's where the compromises are supposed to be. And we just seem that we can never get there. And one of the problems we have as Black people is unique. I think it's unique in the United States. It's because somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm going to go through how we got here, that we decided that only one party is suitable for our needs as a collective. And there has been nothing further from the truth. And we have so many receipts to show for why it's been a bad, bad plan for over 60 years, and it's just time for us to open our eyes. Now, I'm not saying everybody should flee the Democratic Party. I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying that it's just been a bad plan because groupthink doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not good to have 92% of your Black women liberal, and 78% of your Black men liberal. What's going on? What's going on, Arnold? So it's not good to have one-sided. One side takes us for granted, and the other side used to just ignore us because they didn't even need our vote to get there. And now we're in a big pickle because if you look back at this recent election, even if 100% of us voted for Democrats, Donald Trump would have still won all but one state. He would have won, but he would have still won the election, and he would have won 6 of the 7 swing states. I did the numbers, and you can go back and on one of my lives on this channel, and you could see that. So I'm just trying to say, I think it's high time that we should be a little evolutionary on how we think. So the goal here is not to make anybody become a Democrat or a Republican. It's just to get people to think that, we're in this ideological war, and we're not really participating in it if our masses can't think past one side of the ideology, and then hate everybody. I don't want to use the word hate, but have disdain for everybody who might think different because you hate Trump. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. So anyway, so one of the things I wanted to get to, and it's kind of a little bit sidetracked, but it's part of the politics on the conservative side. They want us to be. Trump has this plan for us to at least make the trade war a little bit more in our favor. Right, this is where the tariffs come in, and we were in trouble when the average guy out in the street started using the word tariff. Right, the average guy didn't know what the hell tariff. What do you mean tariff? And then all of a sudden they just listening to the news media telling how bad it is, and they never really looked past the fact that we were getting hosed by the world for decades. Right, so Trump wants to fix that. And we could argue whether the way he's going about it is the best way and all that other kind of horseshit. So it perturbated the market, right? And people started getting scared. But here's the thing. There's a difference between how the folks on Wall Street look at the market and the folks on Main Street, right? We're the Main Street folks, the little guy, right? I know a little bit about stocks, but most people have never bought a stock in their life. Those are the people on Main Street. They just look at prices. All they know is that the 401k plan went down because there was some uncertainty in the market. Well, you know what? Every so often there's uncertainty in the market, but and that's okay because the resulting vector of the market is always up. We've recovered from all kinds of stuff. So I want to show you guys a chart, and whoever's here, if you might help you look at give you a better way to look at the market, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, if it goes down, it's so bad. My world's coming to an end. I'm gonna sell everything at the bottom." You can't do that, right? Especially if you're in a 401k plan, because if you're in a 401k plan, you're pretty much putting money in the market every time you get paid. And so your dollar cost averaging. So when it goes down, you're buying more shares. When it goes up, you buy a little less. And in the result, over 5-10 years, you do pretty well that way. So I want to show you this chart, folks. And we're going to talk about how to look at a market downturn and using some percentages. And so and everybody's worried about what happened in the first 100 days of the Trump administration. He perturbated the market, and everybody said, "Oh my God, the world's coming to an end," and it really wasn't. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at something. All right. No, I can't put myself there. All right. So if you can see this chart, and you can, right? I'm just going to help you look at the market. Now, I have some indicators, some metrics that I look at when the market declines. So if you look at the top grid, right? The top box here, this right here, right? When the market, every so often when the market goes up and it gets hot, people take profits. And every so often the market will go down maybe 2, 3, 4%. And that's called a consolidation. I look at it when the market goes down, it could go down as much as 10% without nothing being wrong. It's just people taking profits. And if it doesn't go up to 10%, I just call it a consolidation. The market has to consolidate in order to do the next run up. That means, the money was getting heavy in people's pockets and it was time to take a little bit of profits. Those people taking profits create opportunities for new people to get in at a cheaper price. That's all that is. And then if the market is in a correction, anywhere from 10 to 20%, right? You got this correction because maybe the market ran too hot. And then when people sell, sometimes it's a snowball effect because some people are starting to sell at a loss. They're seeing their profits dwindle and they held too long. And so then they start to panic sell a little bit. And the market goes down anywhere from 10 to 20%. I call that a correction, right? All right. So that's what we saw mostly in April. Well, we saw both of this. The third one is capitulation. And the capitulation is when the market goes from 20 to 30% down in a short period of time. That's what we saw On April 7th of this year, the market went down to its new 52-week lows. So you can go back and check that out. And from the 52-week high of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the market went down 18% when it hit its 52-week low on April 7th. And you see it down on the bottom chart, the bottom of the chart. Today, at the end of the market today, Cinco de Mayo, the Dow Jones is only down 8%. That means it recovered 10% already. So those people who panic sold at the bottom, you missed out, because I believe the market's going to come back. And you let Trump just sign one or two of those tariff deals, or if the Fed lowers interest rates just by a little bit, which he needs to do, and he knows it, so he can't keep holding that against Trump. So he's gotta make borrowing money cheaper, because he knows he needs to do it soon. That's gonna make the market kind of explode a little bit, okay? I believe. All right, so if you look at the NASDAQ went down 25% because it's in high-tech stocks. They got a lot of high-tech, high volatile stock. And so there was a lot of capitulation there, right? It went down more than 20% because some of those stocks were really, really flying high, and people sell those tech stocks because the stocks in the Dow Jones they call bellwethers for the most part. Big companies, well established, they don't move that hard, that fast. But in the NASDAQ, you have these volatile tech companies. And so now it's only down 11%. That's how much it's come back. From 25% down on April 7th, it's only down 11% today. You see what I'm going at, right? The market is kind of rebounded. It's going to take a sweet time, but it's been less than a month. The S&P, same kind of thing. It went down 21% on April 7th, and now it's only down 8% from its 52-week high. So it's clear that the trend is moving back up. For those people who sold, or not sold, but for those people who held and added shares on a regular basis, like in your 401k plan, you're doing much better, right? So long before it hits the 52-week high, all your money should be back. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I've done in my family, I try to get people to get off their dime. It's hard getting Black people in the market, but I try to get them to set up a few plans for themselves, other than putting money in the bank at 1%. So this is how, so this whole thing with Trump, the market's going crazy and it's all this, that's just bullshit. During the pandemic, the market collapsed, right? So we didn't have a collapse, right? The market collapsed during it, and guess what? It came back too. It actually recovered, because Wall Street looks at the market a lot differently. People who, those traders, if the company is doing well, it could get pressure in bad times, but if it's doing well, it's going to do well. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with whoever's looking at this. I wanted to share the fact that there's some ways you can, assuage your fears and doubts by looking at the percentages on every downturn. Because every downturn, for somebody, you can look at it as a bad thing, but it's always an opportunity for the trader looking to get in. Anyway, so that's that. What does it have to do with conservatism or liberalism? Well, I think the liberals are the ones making just a big deal of being frightened, and people who are more conservative know and understand how the market moves, right? So so I think so. All right, so what's next? So I just wanted to throw that in there just because, I don't know, public service announcement or whatever. But anyway, I think for Trump and the conservatives, the next 100 days is just as or more important than the first 100 days. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there and all that kind of stuff, and that's for the politic guys to handle. I don't worry about that. But I think we need to start seeing some receipts. We need to start seeing a few receipts. Not, well, first of all, gas prices are down. Everybody knows that. They're down big time. I know it because I track the oil futures. So yeah, gas prices are going down. Plus, I use oil heat. So the prices of oil is going down because the Saudis are, I guess, almost trying to flood the market, I think. And then, of course, your precious eggs have gone down. But the tariffs may increase things like electronics. We know that there's if you buy an American-made car, you're not going to get any tariff issues. So there's exemptions there. However, I believe the tariff issue is going to start to go away over the next 100 days because they're going to start doing better deals with all of these companies that they're sitting down with. And each country, not company, but country, each country has to have its own unique deal. There's a term for that, and I forgot what it is. It's not one size fits all, right? So America, if they do a deal with India, it's not going to be the same deal they do with the EU. And sooner or later, China will come to the table, and we'll be working some things out. So the one big thing that in the first 100 days that I think, and I don't understand how anybody could be for open borders, whether you're a liberal or a conservative. I know the liberals, and this is really the Democrats, wanted open borders so they can get new voters, maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now. But there's a reason why there's restrictions on who can get a green card and who can get visas, because when people come to our country, there's got to be time for them to assimilate into the American culture, because they bring all their own ideologies, their own cultures with them. And so, it was like only 3% of the people who apply for a green card get one. Only 3%. And that's like 1 million. Last year, it was, I think, 2023, 2024, 1.1 million people got accepted for a green card. And then they have to go through the process of being Americanized, essentially, like establish residence, learn English, all that kind of stuff. And it takes years, at least 5 years to go through the system. And then it's millions of people who don't get the green cards in the queue. And that creates a black market. That's what we saw over the last 4 years. So the conservatives are saying, listen, it's everybody, both conservatives and liberals, both believe in immigration, right? But one believes in unfettered immigration. The other says, let's control that shit, because when new people come to our country, we got to vet them. That's one. And it takes time for them to assimilate into American culture. And you can't do that with 20 million people at one time. You could do it with 1 million, and you have them spaced all over the United States. But when 20 million people flood an area, they're just bringing their own customs with them. They don't give a shit they're in America. They're going to just take advantage of the money that we're giving. But they're not going to have to learn anything. So, and that hurts, and that kind of immigration hurts, I guess, people at the lower social economic scale, because most of those people have front-facing jobs. So those front-facing jobs get hurt. So that's why we can't have just crazy liberals saying, let everybody in. That it just can't be that. Just can't be the deal. All right. So I'm gonna just show you this chart. So this is the chart that shows that most people who are at the lower end of the service community, the cashiers, the food service people, they are front facing to the customer. And if you're black and white or an American, a lot of times we're at a disadvantage because we're not bilingual. So when the new folks come in, if they're from Spanish speaking countries, and these these jobs are in areas where the local population is a large Hispanic, which is a lot of places in the blue states for sure. Everywhere else, uh, the advantage is that they can speak the language. So if I'm a hire somebody for my business, whether I'm black, white, or some, I gotta hire somebody who could talk to the people. So and then if the folks are not working for minimum wage, then they undercut the wages for the guys who are American citizens. So that's why this was a bad deal in the last 4 years for American citizens who need these kind of jobs because they can't compete. Because no American is going to say I'm going to work for less than minimum wage. That I can go without health benefits and all the benefits that come with having a job. But but if I'm new to the country and I just need to have some income coming in, I'll take that job. So that's why we have this big divide. One of the reasons why we have this big divide. And when people say, well, the Republicans don't care about black people or don't care about, lower income folks. Well, the truth of the matter is if they protect the border and they protect the border and people are not influxing your neighborhood, legally or illegally, right? They're helping you out because now you're not competing for the jobs that you would normally get, right? So that's how that works. That's another reason why, I don't understand how, black folks just say, oh, shit, I hate this, right? I mean, because the Democrats flooded your neighborhood with people from all over the world. And whatever tax dollars you had, they gave it to somebody else. So again, we need to start having more conservative voices out there saying, this is how being a conservative can help you. If your vote goes to people who will have, I don't want to say your best interest in mind, but where your interests and their interests might align. Let's put it that way, right? Your interests might align. I'm not going, who can really tell if anybody has your best interest in mind? But if your interests align, that's a good thing. And so my big issue is that when I talk to folks, and I've been, like I said, I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So I've been on the plantation my whole life, until I started to see that, over the years, from when I was born in the Jim Crow era, right? It was almost over, but I was born in 58. So from then to where I'm at now, I've seen some major successes for a lot of black folks, but we also see major decay in the inner cities in a lot of areas. Generational curses being passed down, through free handouts and Section 8 and unwed motherhood and all that kind of stuff. Even though it takes two to tango, women do the heavy lifting, right? They do the heavy lifting when it comes to babies. So, so I'm just saying a different philosophy of where there's some restraint, some social mores, some shame, some of these things which will never come back, which could help us kind of move forward from 2025 outward. I mean, there's already some Gen Zers who think a little bit differently than their predecessors, the millennials, or even the Gen Xers. But everybody blames everything on baby boomers. So what I was going to show you is, so I just wanted to kind of show some of the reasons why, how we got to the point where we are now. Yeah, we had pride back then. One of the things I want to show is how we got to the point. I'm going to show a chart that some real things happened that made us start going from voting Republican to voting Democrat. I'm going to just put this up here. All right. And if you look at this, and they have another corresponding chart that I'm not going to show, but party identification. Back in 1936, this is the New Deal, right? At the time of the New Deal was the Great Depression, and FDR had put programs in place that would benefit all citizens, including blacks, because we had a pneumonia when everybody else, whatever pneumonia they had, we had double pneumonia. How about that? Right. So you saw that we voted, kind of almost even Republican and Democrat in terms of party, not vote, but party affiliation. If I had a truck with the vote that year that the New Deal came out, blacks voted almost 100% for FDR. But if you look at the years going up there, 1944, in 1948, there was a big jump in blacks moving over to the Democratic Party. And I had to go back and find out what happened in 1948. And in 1948, Truman integrated the army. I mean, he integrated the armed services. So he got some bennies for that by integrating the armed services. And think about that. Black folks wanted to take pride in help supporting the country. So the Democrats got a spike for him integrating the service. He also, at the same time, the same year, he started putting the things in place where the federal workforce, he was putting safeguards in there for them to move a lot of the racial imbalances. Now, I don't know how well he did, but the fact that he was making a gesture towards that, I think, mattered. And so if you look at from 48 on, we just started to, bleed blue. Just bleed blue. And then in 1964, now, I don't know how true this is, but they said that in 1964, before the Republicans got the bill, and that's another story, got it through the Senate, that FDR says, if I sign this into law, we're going to have those blackies in our corner forever. Now, I don't know if that's true, right? I didn't see the direct quote, but it kind of makes sense because that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. So I'm going to play, I want y'all to listen to this. I'm going to play FDR's, I guess, announcement of signing the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It's a short tape. But if you put yourself back then and you listen to the words that he said, how would it make you feel? Whether the execution of it really played out the way it has, way he intended or not, that doesn't matter. But listen to what he said, and you'll start to say, holy shit, I can see why blacks said, holy shit, our savior came, Yeah, yeah. But listen to it. I'm gonna play his little speech here. Well, maybe I should share it first, huh? Maybe that might help.
My fellow Americans, I am about to sign into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I want to take this occasion to talk to you about what that law means to every American. 188 years ago this week, a small band of valiant men began a long struggle for freedom. They pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor, not only to found a nation, but to forge an ideal of freedom, not only for political independence, but for personal liberty, not only to eliminate foreign rule, but to establish the rule of justice in the affairs of men. That struggle was a turning point in our history. Today, in far corners of distant continents, the ideals of those American patriots still shape the struggles of men who hunger for freedom. This is a proud triumph. Yet those who founded our country knew that freedom would be secure only if each generation fought to renew and enlarge its meaning. From the Minutemen at Concord to the soldiers in Vietnam, each generation has been equal to that trust. Americans of every race and color have died in battle to protect our freedom. Americans of every race and color have worked to build a nation of widening opportunities. Now, our generation of Americans has been called on to continue the unending search for justice within our own borders. We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment. We believe that all men have certain unalienable rights, yet many Americans do not enjoy those rights. We believe that all men are entitled to the blessings of liberty, yet millions are being deprived of those blessings, not because of their own failures, but because of the color of their skin. The reasons are deeply embedded in history and tradition and the nature of man. We can understand without rancor or hatred how this all happened, but it cannot continue. Our Constitution, the foundation of our republic, forbids it. The principles of our freedom forbid it. Morality forbids it. And the law I will sign tonight forbids it. That law is the product of months of the most careful debate and discussion. It was proposed more than 1 year ago by our late and beloved President, John F. Kennedy. It received the bipartisan support of more than 2/3 of the members of both the House and the Senate. An overwhelming majority of Republicans, as well as Democrats, voted.
Yeah, so remember now, he's telling you in the Senate, it was the Republicans who had to break a filibuster to get it through the Senate.
For it. It has received the thoughtful support of tens of thousands of civic and religious leaders in all parts of this nation. And it is supported by the great majority of the American people.
All right, so now you pretty much can see based on what he was saying, how the black people said, holy shit, you know what? Maybe our tide is going to turn for the better here. Maybe we don't have to worry about anything because the president is on our side. And so we just started giving our votes, all of our votes, to the Democrats in overwhelming fashion, year after year after year after year. And I'm going to show another chart for. Listen, man, I'm telling you, listen, there was a great speech, right? You know, so in a moment, I could see how the black folks living back then, right? Because I was 8 years old. I didn't see a speech back then, but I can see them around the radio. For some of them who might have had a black or white TV, but most people probably saw it on, listened to it on the radio. And it'll take much to make black people happy, right? A little affirmation, a little bit, oh, you're on my side. And we pretty much jump, put a battery in our back and we pretty much jump. So back then, based on Jim Crow, That was a breath of fresh air. Just his words was from the top leader, the leader of the free world, had to be a breath of fresh air. So, if you have to figure out the pinpoint a couple of reasons why we started to give our votes to the Democrats. But now I'm going to show you a chart and see what they've done with our goodwill. See what they've done with our goodwill. Okay. So here it goes, and it ain't good. All right. So, all right. So what I did was I put this chart together so we could talk about, what the Democrats did with our free will. I mean, with our goodwill. So here's the chart, and if you look at it, where's the whole thing at? I'm gonna find it up here. So, I can't. Well, anyway, if you look at this thing, if you look at the chart from there's 4 pillars. I call the 4 pillars of decay. Okay, that's what I call it. And the first pillar, right? The first pillar is, the Civil Rights Act, and along with the Civil Rights Act, we were made to have, I guess, we signed what I would call a Faustian bargain with the government. And that bargain was, we'll give you food stamps, which came out in 64 as well. And we'll give you whatever else, some supplemental aid, but you can't have a man, or you can't have more income in the house, right? You have to meet a certain requirement of poverty to get what you have. Now, the one thing I could say is, and it's, I guess it's generally accepted that the woman said, "Shit, man, why have a man who can barely make it living with me when I can get free money, and I don't have to put up with the adjective of having a guy who's down on his luck?" And I would like to say, it might be true, it may not be, but I would like to say that this is where I can do bad all by myself came from. Right? Why do I need to have a guy that I gotta, he's making minimum wage, but for just a little less, I don't have to put up with his bullshit, right? So, hey, what's going on, man? Have you seen 100 watts? I see. What's up? I'll stop here, man. What's happening, man?
Man, look, man, it's another beautiful day in my neighborhood, and this is a conversation that I need, because look, I've been enjoying the hell out of MSNBC, CNN, Fox. I've been enjoying the hell out of these networks the last month or so. And brothers
Why
like
is
me,
that?
like, look, man, we ignorant to shit like this, man. We just ignorant to stuff like this. It's been entertaining to me. So I'm gonna tell you why it's been entertaining to me, because I have my money in stocks and I trade Forex. So I trade exchanges.
Okay.
So Trump and his whole him in Canada, that's made me some money, right? Him in China,
Okay.
that's made me some money in terms of trading Forex. So I gotta watch these networks to know what he's doing with these tariffs and all of that. So I know what kind of way the market gonna be moving for me.
I mean, that's some,
But the
that
crazy thing
Forex
is,
is some big stuff, man. And a lot of people don't know how to dick around with that, man. That's volatile trading.
it's no joke. It's no joke. You will fuck around and lose some money if you're not paying attention. It's no joke.
Just shoot, man. Yeah, I don't mess with it, man. But okay, so let me ask you a couple. So let me put it. I put this chart together because I had this. I got my epiphany kind of late, but like I said, you might have not been here. I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I've been just like most black people who were born into the Democratic, plantation. And I just started to say, well, what has happened for us at the lower levels, right? And from a class perspective, yeah, we got a lot of blacks doing well. But what happened to the ones that we're leaving behind? What's happening to our family? What's happening to all of that kind of stuff? And you know, we put a lot of our dedication into the political process to the Democrats. And my question is, what have they done from the bottom up for us? And, you know, and living through the 60s, the 70s, now here, we've gotten worse at some levels on the bottom level. So when I put this up, let me just go through this chart a little bit, right? I call it the decay of the Black family from the Civil Rights Bill to present day. And I got these 4 blue, what I call pillars of decay. The Civil Rights Bill, maybe that's a misnomer. The bill itself was a good deal. I mean, the bill itself was good, but the deal we had to make for that bill to be enacted wasn't. Are you familiar with the movie Claudine? It was an old movie with Diane Carroll. All right. So essentially, back in the day, they, women certain, most women took a deal where if you wanted food stamps and whatever supplemental income, you couldn't have a man in the house. Right. So whether it was your husband making minimum wage or whether it's your boyfriend, you couldn't declare any of that income. And they used to have inspectors coming over to check. They used to check Black people's houses to see if they had a man in there. So now you can start seeing where the separation of the family started to come out. And so that's why I have, if you look at the left side of this chart, Section 8 came out in 74. It created some generational dependencies. We know, if you're Black, you probably know a grandmother, a granddaughter, and a newborn, great-grandmother, grandmother, and daughter, all on Section 8.
For the record, that's still happening to this day.
Exactly right.
If you live in Section 8, they still send inspectors, but they might not send an inspector. Like if you're getting food stamps, they might not send an inspector. But if you get in Section 8, somebody gonna come walk through there at some point.
All right. So so that's that one pillar. The other pillar that I have is, I think a lot of people, and this is not just with the woman, this is just with sexual thought process. A lot of people underplay the impact that the birth control pill had on our the sexual marketplace, because it actually gave women the freedom to have sex indiscriminately, right? They were having sex before, but the men, we've been the same ever. So in 1960, the baby boomer girls were 15 years old. I remember a lot of this too, because I had a lot of cousins that age. Their mothers put them on birth control as a preventative measure, right? A lot of women were on birth control to regulate their periods, to make sure that they made a mistake in high school or something like that. But on the flip side, you're also tacitly telling them that, you can have sex without worry because you're not going to get pregnant. And so in the 60s and the 70s, we had an explosion of what they call a sexual revolution. And I think the pill was right in the middle of that, and feminism came out and said, the most powerful thing you could be as a woman was a sexually free woman. Well, at least that was one of the tenets, right? And so that was another period that was another decline. Look at today. Look at the sexual marketplace today. It's a mess, And so that's that one, that other pillar. And the third one is feminism and cultural decay. I mean, there's no shame, there's no social mores, there's the culture of what it is to have cultural reverence or restraint. It's all gone. It's all gone. Nobody respects anything. Respect for elders. Not that I'm clamoring for it, but you can routinely see people cursing out their elders and all that kind of stuff. It's a free for all out there. And then the fourth one, of course, I lived through that too. The street gangs, the drug selling, the crack era, the crime bill. All of these things played on under the Democratic regime in terms of how these were our representatives through all of this stuff, and they didn't shield us from any of it. They didn't shield us from any of it. All right. What's going on, Zan?
Hey, what's up, man?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hey, let me just say this. So just last bubble down. So here's this little thing on the right here. You see where my cursor is? Where it says when the Democrats had the House, the Senate,
Yeah.
the presidency, and the Supreme Court. They had all levels of power. They didn't do a goddamn thing for us. Like we're still talking about reparations, right? No, a reparations bill never even got to the floor under the Democrats, and they had the seat of power for LBJ, seats of power for Carter. Obama had all the seats of power, and Biden had all seats, and all they did was give us lip service. Right? We still don't even have an anti-hate bill for the anti-lynching bill. We can't get signed. You know, so all I'm just trying to say is, what have these guys actually done? And so that's that part of it. Then the Congressional Black Caucus is on the left, and I was gonna go through all of that, but look at in the middle here where I got the black family with the X over it. In my day, I could go to my classmate and say, "Well, do you live with your mother and father?" 80 to 90% of them would have said yes. Today, if you ask a kid, do you live with your mother and father? What percentage do you think says yes these days? 15, 20, maybe? You know, and so, you know, so single motherhood, that's not all their fault, but that's what it's called, right? Single motherhood. Those arrows going out. Divorce, right? You know, actually, it's not 50%. It's more like these are recent numbers. It's like 31%, but only 50% of us are getting married. So out of 50% of people getting married in the black community, 31% get divorced, and most of you guys initiated by women. That's true. And then, of course, a lot of the things where they say there's deadbeat dads, what they don't talk about is most of those fathers are alienated by the mothers, because they don't have no real relationship. So even if they're paying child support, that woman doesn't like the guy. They give men hell. They alienate the children from them, especially their sons. And I did a live on that. It's a bigger issue than we talk about. And then, of course, paternity.
Married part takes away from the two-parent household part, though.
Say what?
I think sometimes we focus too much on the married part versus the two-parent household part.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead and elaborate. I know where you're going, but elaborate on that, because I know a lot of people don't like to get married, but they might have. You talk about
I think there's a lot more stepdaddies than the internet would like. Yeah, I think there's a lot more stepfathers than the internet would let you believe there are. You know what I'm saying? Like I think there might be a lot more black men. You know what I'm saying? The internet would let you believe that being a stepfather is some simp shit and you should never do that. Like, most of the men that I know date women that have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like they date women that have kids. So even if we're not married, this is still a two-parent household. Even if I'm not your biological father, this is still a two-parent household. I think the internet lets you believe that there's more single mothers than there really might be. But that's just me not believing what the internet and what the media says. That's just me questioning.
You know what? I don't disagree with what you said. You know, but here's the issue, though. Women themselves think it's a flex to be a single mother. A lot of them do. They call themselves that all the time. I've heard a married woman call herself a single mother. Right? You know, I mean, so yeah, you might be right. You know, I mean, back in my day, man, stepdaddyism was a big deal, man. Shit, man. I mean, are you kidding me? Everybody, there's stepfathers all over the goddamn place back in the day. But the stigma wasn't there because the women respected those guys. You know, women had more respect for the men back then. Now women are getting on the internet saying there's the guy who's a stepfather for his kids is a simp. I've seen some stuff like that. So the women kind of call some of these guys out and they just use them. But I know what you're talking about. So yeah, you got to somehow look past just what you're seeing on the internet. I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. So what you got, Zan? What you got?
10 T.
Oh, that's a T? Okay.
Yeah, 7.
I'm sorry, brother.
It's new age. But no, I'm following what you're saying, man. Are you asking me the question like?
Yeah, I mean, what you got on the top? You got anything that you want to say, guy?
I mean, you will have a lot of followers, so a lot of sheep than lion. I would say my grandpa, who was a boomer,
Yeah.
So, but he taught me about Martin Luther King and MLK, and so as a little kid, I gravitated to X because
Okay.
he was more for do for self.
Right.
A lot of people today are not even do for self, so I could see how they fell into the let's get a handout. But I feel like if I was back then, I wouldn't have went with the whole handout situation. I just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have gone and taken that route. Kind of like how I say right now, like how in the hell y'all get hoodwinked into wanting to sit with them and eat with them when we got a running joke that they can't season food. Like, why would I sit somewhere and I got to worry about somebody spitting in my food? You know what I mean?
No, I hear you, man. I mean, listen.
So I may not do the word. I may not have known communist what that word meant, or I would have tried to find out what it was. But as I got older and understanding MLK and then that whole movement, the shit came off like Marxism and communism.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, you know, anytime you're talking about equality of outcomes, you're talking about socialism and Marxism, because there's no way you can guarantee that shit. That's the biggest problem.
Right.
You know, I think that if we went back to the credo, that the only thing that we're owed based on the Declaration of Independence is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah. And your happiness is only good as long as it's not impinging upon somebody else's happiness.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into these disputes, right? So and that's where the litigation comes in. And that's why we have so many of these issues, because people not only want their rights, they want to impart the way they want to live on you. Yeah. Like for the last 4 years or so, we've been under siege by the LBGT community.
Yeah.
They say it's 1%, but everybody else was under siege because of what these people wanted. You know, and it's crazy. And that was horrible. I mean, you know what, man, if Kamala Harris would have won, man, forget it.
But to finish up off what I was saying, with this cell phone in our hands, in our pockets, this is literally college. This is literally a library out of college.
Oh, sure.
So I say there's no excuses of why you should be misinformed. You may not like, Donald Trump or whatever, but you got to get past that and see what really is the big issue, and what's really going to drive me in that grave quick, or how can I vote for somebody that's going to give me the opportunity to excel and address a problem. So I don't want to go off to a big tangent, but
no, go ahead, man.
I used to watch Tariq Nasheed, right? And he had I really liked the video about the Maroons and the Black Seminoles, right? And if you just do the research on Andrew Jackson, he didn't like black folks at all. At all, right?
Yeah.
Watching that documentary about Andrew Jackson, he didn't like black folks at all. He went to the South. Florida was free. Florida was owned by Spain. So he came down, got his ass whooped. And every time Andrew Jackson would come up from getting his ass whooped, he would go to a community or a city and kill black folks. That's just massacring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So small level thinking and be like, man, I hate that dude, man. Like, F him and everything he got. And then, like, once you see Donald Trump has Andrew Jackson behind him, the low level thinking would be like, well, I hate Donald Trump because he likes Andrew Jackson. But if you read a couple of books and understand what Andrew Jackson did to help society in our country, he killed the bank. He killed the banking system, which is why we're effed up as a Federal Reserve. Like I always tell you, man, like you fix the money, like you fix the whole world. So low level thinking can be, I hate Trump because he likes Andrew Jackson. He got him behind him. And so doing a lot of reading, you understand, like, hey, a lot of the reason why we're in this situation is because the money's fucked up. And I always say that, man. The money.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, I hear that. I mean, there's so many reasons. What do you think about the general premise that the vast majority of us vote Democrat?
Why?
No, not why. I know why, but
Yeah.
because I went through that, I might have went through that on some slides. I'm saying, what do you think about having all of our votes, or 90% of the women, 78% of the men, voting for one party? What do you think that does for our position in the in the political sphere?
It makes us look like we're easily. I mean, it makes us look like we're okay with being fooled and being the puppets. You know what I mean? It makes us look real dumb as a whole. And like they've already said, we don't really need y'all no more to sway votes. Like I really said, they don't really need our votes. And so like this past election kind of showed you, hey, these colleges and these people funding these colleges kind of got that new age of voters in the rap, in the chokehold. So it's kind of like I think we've kind of like what's the word? We've used up our power on our voting block for us as Black Americans.
Right. And we are where we are in 2025 because of it. So what? Yeah. What do you think? What about 100 watts? What do you think about that?
I think this last election was a great example of how Black people expect Black people to do Black people shit. Like the expectation of Black people. I'm telling you right now, me personally, I was annoyed every time I watched a Democratic anything and saw somebody on stage twerking. Anytime I saw somebody on stage twerking, that shit irritated the fuck out of me, because they already have this perception of us, and all you did was bring Meg the Stallion out to shake her ass. Thank you for showing them exactly what the fuck they already think of us. You know what I'm saying? I think the fact that we have followed this trend for as long as we have to get nothing from it is a great example of how the game is being played and you niggas is letting it happen in front of you. Like we just allowing the game to be played against us and complaining about the game. Like, how about we play the game the right way instead of complaining about the rules of the game? Like, don't blame the player. Don't blame the player. Blame the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad at the white man because the shit working in his favor. The game is set up for it to work in his favor. Don't be mad at him. That's how it's set up. He's not gonna give away his power for free. You have to do something to give him reason to give away some of it. Like the way I understand business now, right? If you go to a company and you're working out a contract, they're gonna give you what you do. They're gonna give you what you earned. They're not gonna give you what you deserve. They're gonna give you what you earned and what you can negotiate. Right. So when you go get this the first contract probably gonna be some bullshit. It's probably gonna be some bullshit. They probably gonna fuck you a little bit on the first contract. But when you come back for the re-up, now you need to start talking about some equity. Now we need to don't give me a sign and bonus. Give me equity. Mm-hmm. And black people have not required equity of Democrats. All they have been doing is just continuing to re us up for another 360 deal. Every time we re-up, it's another 360 deal. We've never required equity.
Equity, yeah. I mean,
I think with this election right here was a perfect example of how the Democratic Party will just put something in shiny in front of you and say, "Hey, follow this. Hey guys, this is cute, isn't it?" Like, come.
And if you don't
do it no more,
and if you don't,
you're not black.
100. I said this last year. They still have the older boomers and the family members around, and I'll give an example of Obama did it. They expect the older black people to shame you at the family events. So now you're ostracized. Now you're isolated. And you know what I mean? Now you may feel like, what I know, is it right? Am I going the right way? So I'm still betting on the Democrats still shaming the youth, the millennials, the Z's. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's working, because obviously it didn't work when Obama did it. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's over with. Payne, you're on mute.
Listen, you know what? It's over with, but it's still a slippery slope. I mean, because the Republicans could blow it. They could. I mean, you know, people are fickle. You could actually blow it. We'll see what happens at the midterms.
Yeah.
But we have you know, the battle of ideology is going on right now, and whether you like Republicans per se, I like the conservative way of life a lot better than this ultra liberal bullshit that's going on.
Yeah.
You know, with everything
I think
goes.
that's your, but I think right now you're speaking on your morals. A lot of
Well, not just the morals, but it's more than that.
Yeah, but
It's
I think a
more
lot
than
of black men of our age, me and 100, was looking at policies. Like, why is it so hard to get ahead? Why even when I'm saving up for a house, nigga, they still bailing these people out. So I don't even think it's a Republican and Democrat with us when there's black millennials that voted for Donald Trump. It was, man, fix these policies. Because we seen y'all have factories in the Midwest. We seen Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State. We seen that Rust Belt have the average family have 4 kids.
Let me hit you with this.
Go ahead.
Policies can also be liberal and conservative. So the policies you're talking about are more you're looking for are more conservative policies, fiscal conservative policies.
Yeah.
Less taxes, and somehow putting money back in the person's. You know, one of the things I think we're going to have to come to grips. You guys are going to have to come to grips with is that I don't know if we're ever going back to where, you know, a single, unless you're making a lot of bank, where just a single paycheck is going to just take care of a whole family. You know, I don't think we're going back there. The problem is you have to, if you're going to, and maybe I could be wrong because things, you know, swing, ebb and flow. I mean, I was able to do it as a boomer, but I can see that now that it's almost impossible. But even some of my contemporaries had their mothers and fathers working. All my aunts worked. They all got, when they got married, they all had pensions. A lot of people think that, you know, the women didn't have no money back then. It's not true. You know, so I just think that the housing market, you know, is if there's a bubble, it got to bust to come down for people to afford it. I think, you know, that kind of stuff. And I can't really predict that. I mean, maybe you 100 watts, but I don't see it ever coming down like it was before.
I'm not
You know
going.
how much I pay for my house?
I'm not going to lie to you.
$165,000.
None of what you just said is invaluable. But to somebody like me, the reason I fuck with Trump is because whether you agree with him or not, I'm not saying that I always agree with him. I'm not saying that I voted for him. I'm saying that the reason I fuck with somebody like Trump is because the motherfucker gets it done.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with the policy or the way he's doing it, he's doing something.
He's doing something.
For Democrats. I've listened to Democrats for way too long talk about, well, I can't get past the House or the Senate won't agree, or I don't know how to. They make all these goofy ass, soft ass, hoe ass excuses as to why they can't get stuff done. When I'm watching this man do stuff and legitimately ignore the fucking courts, the courts is telling him, "Hey, big dog, you got to turn the plane around and bring him back." He said, "No,
Nobody turn this goddamn plane around. You know what? Let me ask you a question. I think you made a mistake. I think the mistake was showing people that prison.
For what? Huh?
I think the mistake they made was showing people that goddamn prison.
What prison are you talking about?
The one in El Salvador. That where they put man. Yeah,
I knew about that already. Like I knew about that already. If you study El Salvador and Bukele and how he turned that whole
but you're not the average American never saw that goddamn place. And you gotta understand the psyche of the weak American, right? I would have just because once they showed that prison, these guys are feeling sorry for murderers. We got a whole party.
The Democrat,
We're feeling sorry for the worst people in the world. So it's crazy. I can't get past it.
Is it the people on TV or your everyday people walking around? Because I don't see everyday black folks talking about.
I'm not talking about black. It's not just black folk. you know, you can only extrapolate it. Everyday black folks from the people who are, that's another point. That's a whole nother lie.
Yeah.
I think you could judge a person, you can start to measure people's psychosis based on how much they're on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see people getting millions of views, you could if they're not bots, you can extrapolate that those views are getting out into the diaspora.
Yeah.
So
he saw like a prison, like a new prison, and
the prison down in El Salvador is a supermax prison.
Of course, yeah.
You get in there, and when they showed those guys, when Kathy Newham was walking around, and these guys, they all sleep in these goddamn like 20 people in a cell.
Oh well.
You know, and all. Man. I said I can see all the bleeding heart liberals coming out of the woodwork.
Oh well. Yeah,
you know,
and those same liberals will live in San Francisco or Seattle and nicer areas away from.
That's right.
Look like me and you, so all that shit.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. All hypocrites. There's no doubt about it. You know. So anyway, man, I just wanted to.
The liberals got paid security guards to bust a cap in your ass if you get too close to their house.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know, so I was just trying to say this chart that I have up here is, you know we have a congressional black caucus, right? And I said, well, what have these assholes done for anybody since they've been put together? And absolutely nothing.
I know one thing.
What's that?
They gave everybody the dashikis from China when Black Panther 2 came out, and
the 92 crime bill. I blame them for the 92 crime bill. I blame them for the 92 crime bill. The 90-something might be wrong on the year, but that crime bill that Joe Biden bitch ass created, right. I blame the Black Caucus for that.
They were right there, and for allowing what's a gram of crack getting you life sentences where like a pound of cocaine you could walk. They have to, these guys were just, you know, that's why we need to stop. I did my one. I voted for Obama twice, and that was the last time I'm voting for anybody just because of the color of their skin.
That's crazy.
I just did it, but I have to admit it. I voted for him twice. You know, but that's the last time when they put up Kamala Harris as the candidate. I know everybody knew me. They wouldn't take my phones no more, my calls, because there's no way I'm voting for this chick, man. Are you kidding me? Cackling hen.
Bernie Sanders was the last chance the Democratic Party had.
Yes, until they psyoped him. Yes, you're definitely right.
Yeah, but he is also a socialist, though.
Nah, he was very liberal until they threatened his kids.
But
man,
but see, Bernie Sanders to me feels like the Democratic version of Trump in terms of getting shit done. I feel like Bernie ain't playing no games with you. He here to get shit done. I ain't trying to be your fucking friend. We here to get shit done.
You know, and Bernie's 83 years old, man. You know,
when he first came out,
problem. It's too late for him now. Now
it's too late. For him. Yeah.
So
would you prefer AOC
to Bernie Sanders?
So, who do you think? Well, first of all, who do you think is going to emerge on the Democratic side? They're going to put a woman up there, that's for sure.
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith. Didn't Trump just endorse him or something?
Yes.
I'm
telling you, honest, if Stephen A. Smith is the Democratic nominee, I promise you I'm not voting for these motherfuckers. I promise you I'm not.
You know, man, shit, I got a video I was going to show. Stephen A. Smith did an interview with Officer Tatum. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Officer Tatum.
I am.
Man.
Before you play that video, though, I'm
talking to you guys. Don't worry about
it. I said, because you got to think about it. Millennials, 30s, 40s, if they would roll out The Rock as a person, because look, hey, honey, look, he muscular, he tall,
okay,
he handsome to them. These women got cats and dogs and by themselves. You know they're gonna try to pull for something.
I'm just laughing. I hear you.
Come on. And we know the liberals. I mean, we know that president on the left side don't really control nothing. We know he a puppet master, like Joe Biden. So trust me, if they could, or they could over Newsom, I would say Dwayne Johnson, but I don't think he's rolling with that.
Well, listen,
It's all
man,
looks
Gavin
for-
Newsom
bro, it's
can't
all
be
looks for
president.
them. It's
Insert
all
crash out. I'm flipping tables. I'm throwing plates. Insert crash out here.
He got a
Dwayne
smile.
Johnson.
He got a smile. I'm not in love with the dude, but I'm saying like these women, which is the big voter block, and a lot of them are single.
Yeah.
Like those stats will come out in 2030. We have a lot of single women out here. They grew up fetishizing over men. They could run somebody like The Rock of, hey, vote for me. Got the smile, got the eyebrows. This whole be in love with him. Come on, man. Yo, man,
Johnson,
but-
see, you know what? As soon as you started saying that, I in my mind saw a Johnson Harris ticket.
Come on, man.
Oh,
Come on.
get out of here, man. You think they would actually run that chick again, man?
They could. Hey,
Yes.
they got away with I'm riding with Biden when he had muscles. Like books in Walmart talking about I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. You riding with Biden? Come on, man. That's just corny. They're corny.
Oh my God. I tell you what, man. You know the
Donald Trump
Democrats are
wasn't
gonna
white.
run.
They pull some bullshit out their ass. I'm telling you.
They're
They could.
gonna have to. I think that right now the leader of the party is AOC.
Over Newsom?
Yeah, man. I think Newsom blew his chance already.
Yeah. How Californians ran? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got data on that.
What's up, Trey?
I bet you that Asian dude will win before Kamala do.
The Asian guy.
What Asian dude?
What was his name? He was the dude that was talking
Andrew
about
Yang?
the
Andrew Yang?
Yang. That was his name. He was talking about the $2,000 for all American citizens
Yeah,
or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Yang.
Yeah, I hope
I bet
so,
you he
too.
would win
I
before
hope-
Kamala do.
I hope.
Yeah, man. He's been silent, man. I haven't heard him talk in a while, man. What's going on, Trey? What's happening, man?
Print more money.
It's going to come down to AOC, Gavin, and Kamala second time around. That's what it's going to come down to, and it's going to be Gavin's going to be in the running because LA is getting the Olympics, and so if he's able to pull the Olympics off, it's going to put him in the limelight. And you got to remember that we live in a culture where everybody's very what happened in the last 5 minutes, not what happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So him being in the limelight for a positive Olympics, making America look good, they're gonna be like, oh yeah. And so yeah, it's gonna be between Gavin. My personal pick is I think it's gonna be AOC. I think AOC will wind up turning up the heat around 2027-ish. She's gonna start to turn up the heat.
I think she
And,
got.
I think she did get married. Yeah, and she's attractive. She's well spoken, and they're going to see her as a younger version of Kamala, and they're going to run with it. So my pick is AOC.
She can speak much better than Kamala, but listen, man. But her talking though, right? She can speak well, but still, man, when she talks, I still feel like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of yabba. It's a bunch of yabba gabba gabba yabba gabba when she talks. Like, but you have to understand something. Another thing that a lot of people aren't paying attention to, your female voter turnout in 2028 is going to be insane. I guarantee you, every female that can potentially vote will vote. I guarantee you. Watch the numbers, because their mindset is going to be, we cannot let another Trump happen. And remember that Trump is going to be JD Vance. So they're going to say, we cannot let this happen again. I guarantee you, every woman that can vote will vote. The question is we already know where the Black women are going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The question is where are Latino women and white women going to vote?
Well, I think, but a lot of those women still have some respect and tie to the men that cover them. That doesn't exist with the Black woman. And we know that if all Black women vote for a liberal Democrat, that's still not going to be enough in a lot of states anymore. We already just saw that. I think where Black men vote is going to be very important.
Think they're going to vote for AOC?
No,
I think black men and Black women could vote for the same person, and it still wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Well,
it would not matter.
No, I hear you.
The statistics back you on that 100 Watt.
No, we already know that.
We already know that. We know that all Black people could have voted, and it still wouldn't have mattered. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So the statistics back him on that. The question is are you going to be able to flip white women? 55% of white women voted conservative. Can you flip white women?
Well, JD Vance is not a hard no homo. JD Vance is not a hard pill to swallow. He's not as brass as Donald Trump. So, I mean, JD Vance kind of gets it done. He's like that young football coach that you have. You know what I mean? He's not old in his ways. He's not too young. He's not doesn't know what he's doing. I don't see him.
I'm sorry.
But he will
And
get shit popping though. Because that whole Ukrainian thing in the offense, that was JD Vance that started that.
You said what?
I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant, and I spoke a lot.
Ukrainian president Zelensky.
Yeah,
JD Vance started that. It wasn't Trump. It was JD Vance that got that popping off. So he will start some shit.
Well, have you seen the interviews?
Wait. Time out. Pause. Wait, time out. Before, Tan, before you get, I just need a question for verification because I'm ignorant and I smoke a lot of weed. Who is the current vice president?
JD Vance.
Yeah, JD Vance.
So, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I'm a mute.
We gotta read you spoken, man.
Hey, JD Vance, and I'm gonna be a millionaire because I'm gonna tell him, hey, just do it. JD, just do it. Just do it, Vance. You know what I mean? All day, like AD.
Are you saying JD? Are you saying JD flip sides?
No.
Are you telling JD to flip sides?
No, I'm saying JD is going to grab a lot
He's gonna run. He's gonna run
votes because, and I was speaking to Trey before you asked this question because when JD was talking to that woman on that one-on-one, he's more respectable than Donald Trump is. When Donald Trump gets annoyed of women talking to him and annoying. So I've seen JD Vance handle women more respectfully than Donald Trump. Donald Trump's that old New Yorker. So he comes off super brass and maybe have a bad tone, but JD Vance, he doesn't cut you off. He's more respectful when it comes.
Yeah, you're right. But Tan, I give Trump gives these chicks the energy they give him.
Of course.
Yeah, they give him shit and he don't bad. That's why black women hate Trump because he don't take no shit from women. And they're used to
date him in the 90s.
And that's why black men
banging around dudes so much, man. Trump said, "Fuck y'all, man. I don't care." When she used to be black and then she's an Indian, that shit was great, man. You're a terrible reporter. He told that
because black men were asking the same fucking question. We were asking the same thing. Hey, Kamala, I ain't never heard you say nothing about black women before, but now all of a sudden you're running on the campaign of a black woman with black women on stage twerking. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck
out of here.
She also hasn't said it.
And I'm watching Meg Thee Stallion throw it.
She also hasn't said anything about being a black woman since she lost either.
No, absolutely not. No, that's so funny.
She actually put a lot of black women in jail in California for kid truancy.
There's
so much stuff.
What are you talking about right now?
Anyways.
I mean, she, listen, when I put this chart together, I just started thinking about the fact that there was multiple times when the Democrats could have done some shit that was worthy of the votes they got over the last 61 years. And they didn't. And that's why I have that box over in the right corner, man. Lyndon Baines Johnson had he had the coup de grace on all houses of power. And, maybe the Civil Rights Bill, which had to get pushed through by a Republican, by the way. But other than that, where's the reparations that these guys keep talking about? Shit, the Democrats ain't bringing that to the floor. Nobody is.
So they're fighting on the wrong reparations.
Oh,
no, I don't. I don't even mention that as a side.
They're fighting on the wrong fight. It's not slavery. It should have been redlining. Go ahead.
Hey, R-Pain.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hegseth secretly changing the names of the military bases back to Confederate?
Man, you know what? I don't have no.
and trying to play it off like it's
they changed back. What's that? Mount McKinley back to Mount McKinley,
and they changed back Fort Bragg. It was Fort Liberty. Now it's back to Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
But it's not named after the last Bragg.
That's been Fort Bragg.
No. They changed it to Fort. 30 months ago, it was Fort Liberty, and then they did just now. Change
I know. I'm
back.
just saying, but Fort Bragg has been existing for a while to where niggas didn't even notice what you're talking about.
Well, what the public does is one thing, but on official documents, it was Fort Liberty, which is what matters the most at the end of the day. But they find it quite interesting that it's a sneaky little move that what they try to pull. So they try to rename the base. They just found a guy with the same name and said, "Oh, we'll name the base after him instead." But they know that the public is.
You asked me a question. I don't have any issue though. I don't care. I just don't care. We got so many other fish to fry. You can name the bases anything. I mean.
Yeah,
I think white people doing white people shit is hilarious.
Yeah, so just don't name one Adolf Hitler or some shit like that.
You got, I say, there's trade-offs to everything. You got to take the good with the bad. That's absolutely a part of the bad. That's a part of the bad.
Yeah. Hitler Air Base is wild.
Say what?
Hitler Air Base is wild.
Adolf Air Base.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah.
I think Trump. I think sometimes they gotta understand that this mandate they have is a mandate, but the people that you're dealing with, man, are fickle. They are fickle. So I was saying that over the next 100 days, they got to show some receipts. For example, they've been saying that there's been fraud, right? So if there's fraud, and I believe there is, there's got to be a perp somewhere in there. Where's the perp walks, man? They got Bigfoot, Letitia James. They keep saying that she did some mortgage fraud. Shit, or get off the pot. Indict that chick, or just shut up about it. So they need to start to show some proof that, first of all, I know they're finding waste. There's no doubt about it. But if they're finding fraud, then shouldn't there be a criminal somewhere in there?
Yeah, but our pain, the question is how deep do you want to go down that rabbit hole?
That's what. There you go.
Because if you ask
y'all ever
DOJ,
seen a government contract database, nigga?
Yes, I have. But what I'm saying, but you're asking a question. Some of those roles lead to Republicans.
But if you exactly, that's what I'm saying. If you're asking for DOJ to start investigating, then that's just gonna get hairy because there's some Republicans that got some money out of that too.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it, man.
And I agree with the conversation.
And that's why you get, like Tan said, Dwayne Johnson going to be the next Democratic
Dwayne Johnson, no more celebrities, man.
He would legit be the final boss then. Like legit would be the final boss if he was a president. I can't see it though.
Arnold Schwarzenegger ran as governor. And he won in California.
Hey, what's the wrestler won in Minnesota? The wrestler, my man,
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura was in Minnesota. But Stephen A. Smith, right? He wants to be president, but he played his card too early.
His problem is not early. He's cool with playing the fence because he still wants to be invited to the barbecue.
Yeah,
he doesn't like calling it down the middle true. He still be tucking his tail when it comes to like the black community and how they vote and how they see stuff. He still tucks his tail because he still wants to be invited to the barbecue. I've seen too many.
Yeah, man. If you're around, man, come on up, man. Shit,
man. His mom was a
crazy is he didn't play it too early. I'm thinking about it now. If he doesn't run for president, he played it exactly how he was supposed to. Because for the next 4 years, they're about to be right behind him on all of his podcast episodes, waiting for the moment that he declares his nomination. So for the next 4 years, he's about to make all kinds of money on his podcast. So Stephen A. did exactly what he was supposed to, because I don't expect to. I hope not to, and they better not let this motherfucker run for president.
I have a problem with this. I had the same problem with Trump.
What's that?
When he ran? Well, experience. I want to see you politician. I want to see you work your way up the chain from councilman to mayor to governor to congressman, senator, whatever the case.
So you want them to be
I have a little bit of an issue with I'm famous, I'm an entertainer, I should be the president of the United States. I had a problem with it with Trump. I do have a little bit of an issue with that.
So you want them
to have a lot on the resume? You have a lot on the resume? Say that again?
No, I lied on the resume and enhanced the resume are two different things. Have I made myself sound better than what I actually was? Sure, absolutely. But I didn't lie, though.
But you know the requirements to be president is like next to nothing, man. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. I think for me, I'm just saying me personally, this is just me personally. That's a little bit of an issue for me. I want to see the number one guy have a history of, this is what I did in local government, this is what I did in federal, you know what I mean? Like actually work their way up.
So,
I mean, Reagan did the same thing, you know what I mean? Like I'm not taking this out on Trump. I'm just saying that what I don't want to see is I don't want to see a history of podcasters saying, "Oh, I'm famous and I'm running for president now." You know what I mean?
Byron Donald, so you vote for Byron Donald, right? Out of Florida.
If he wins governor, that'd be something.
Byron Donald, he worked his way up. Is that what you're saying, Trey? Like you want somebody like that work their way up, but still.
I mean, if I agree with his, his stances, his philosophy, yeah. But I'm just saying that's my preference. I voted for Trump 3 times, so I'm saying one thing, but I did another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would like to. That's what I would like to see.
Well, you might get it. Hey, what's up, Frank? Man, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ten, do you follow? I'm sorry, I am gonna let you get to Frank. We're gonna come back. I just want to ask real quick, Ten. Do you follow news like nationally or more locally? And I'm asking you specifically because we're closer in age than I probably might be to the other two gentlemen before Frank popped up.
I follow like podcasts, but I follow like PPD. I follow like people that are like in my area when it comes to like the field that I want to go into and how successful I want to be in ideology. So I follow Joe Rogan, PPD. I listen sometimes to Tim. I listen to what's his name? Adam Smith. Listen to Jimmy Dore and watch to people. So it's not just I don't watch TV at all.
I heard that. Just we seem to be closer in age than the other two might. So I was just curious where you get your information from. But all right, bet I'm gonna mute.
Well, I listen to those guys. You know, they always throw the old man.
How old exactly do you think that we are?
I mean, no, but see, here's the thing.
No, I know what
here's
you
the
mean,
thing,
man.
and I mean no disrespect. Yeah, because if you
told
told me
you
you got your news from CNN, I would
I'm
believe you. I would believe you.
Who? From CNN?
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. That's Frank. What's going on, Frank, man? What my man Frank, man, always, he always digs the knife in you, because you don't like Trump, man. You don't like this. So give us some balance up here, brother.
Bro, yeah, this is what's this, an echo chamber? Like
that's why we're glad you're here.
All I hear is a whole bunch of dudes up here, like all up here saying the same shit. Like none of y'all got nothing different to say. Nobody like I would like for just one time to watch the show and for the things and the policies that y'all have problems with that Trump is doing or saying, for y'all to have the same.
Oh, you missed the show then. You missed the show.
I'm just saying. I'm just the same. Just the same smoke.
Which part of it is the same? Because I did talk about immigration.
I'm not just talking about you, Payne. Because
there
are times that you are objective. There are times that you are objective. Like when people, like when you talk about these podcasts and you talk about listening to everybody on the same wave, you ain't listening to nobody outside of that pocket, then of course, like you get your information from one source. Just like when Payne be like, well, you must be watching one. I watch your show, which you have a way different perspective than me. Like, we both I'm conservative. I'm not like a MAGA person. I'm more of a conservative person. Like that, like I'm not a MAGA person. But on the opposite side, like I just feel like especially with people, even with Kamala, like I got smoke for Kamala, but that same smoke that I have for Kamala, when Trump say something crazy or do something crazy, I got the exact same smoke. Like when y'all come up here and y'all just be jock riding Trump, like, oh yeah. Like I'm just being honest.
I don't think we were big up in Trump. You
know what? Before you go, Frank, let me ask you a question though.
I'm just saying it's sickening.
No. Let me ask you a question, Frank.
I ain't big up Trump.
What I'm saying is, right now, the Democrats ain't running on any policy.
Yeah.
The only thing they talk about is how much they hate Trump.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
it for everything. But when they were running with Kamala, right? And I told people this all the time. I didn't not vote for her because she was a woman. I have a whole laundry list of shit that I didn't want her to be president for.
And that's respectable. That's respectable. I'm okay with that because I felt, and I told you, I said I feel like Kamala messed up a lot of it just being personable too. Like when you go to every single interview and you talking about the exact same things, even when they ask you something off script, and then you come back to something that you already have scripted, and everybody can just mouth what you're gonna say,
or you
like,
take an accent. You better. But
then it's just gonna come off. It's gonna come off disingenuous, and people just like, yo, like we don't believe you, and we not rocking with that. And I think a lot of the LGBTQ stuff that is what drove a lot of people away too. You know what I'm saying? Which is and like I said, like that's fine. Like, but even with like people like Joe Rogan calling Trump out for the things, like for some of the things that he's doing, even though he supports Trump, even though like that's the type of that's how people learn, man. Like that's how people learn.
What does it matter?
What do you mean? What does it matter? Like
Joe Rogan can call him out all day. Is that changing anything that Trump gonna do?
That's not what I'm talking about, the viewers, right? So like you look at how every time during this election, how the younger population voted for Trump, right? Like in waves, right? In droves. And then after the first 100 days, it seemed to flip where those younger voters are saying now that
says who said it flipped? CNN?
I'm talking about I don't listen. This is what I'm saying. Fox News even said it. I'm just saying
go ahead, finish talking.
I don't just watch. That's what I'm saying. I don't just watch CNN. I watch news that oppose my views and to see.
But you do know that poll is just a snapshot in time, though, right? I mean, you know that.
I'm not okay. So I said after the first 100,
it's virtually impossible.
I said the first 100 days.
Impossible that you give Fox the same time you give CNN. I guarantee you don't give them equal time. Guarantee you don't give them equal time. So maybe you may pop into Fox. You may hear one or two stories, and you pop right back to whatever other news outlet that you actually listen to.
I don't watch CNN like crazy, and I don't watch Fox News like crazy. But either way it goes, I'm objective enough to watch both.
Echo chamber.
And like I said, what is your objectivity doing? What is anybody's objectivity doing when you have zero power? Trump is going to do what Trump wants to do.
Oh, okay, you got it.
So Frank,
you call it glazing if you want to, but he gonna do what the fuck he won't do because I'm tired of seeing these soft ass, goofy ass, hoe ass presidents, bro. These niggas be acting like they got all kinds of chains and whips and handcuffs on them, bro. Just do something, cuz. Just do something. I'm telling
Trump don't give a fuck what we think.
Watching Trump has made me even more irritated at Obama because this nigga could have done 1% more than what the fuck he did, but he didn't do a goddamn thing.
Not for us.
But you love Trump, huh?
I
don't fuck with Trump at all. I don't fuck with Trump. I don't like him. What I like, you call it what you want, cuz. But what I'm telling you is what he says out of his mouth. What he says out of his mouth, I don't agree with. But I agree with the fact that when he shows up in a room, everybody gonna shut the fuck up and listen to what the fuck he talking about. I don't care what you think about Trump or who is around him.
But you know the problem.
Show up. People let him act how he want to. I'm telling you, I don't agree with Trump.
Y'all can have it.
I need to address this dick riding comment. Because the only truthful dick rider around here is the dudes who try to stay objective. You're only doing it because
how can you be an objective dick rider?
Because it's bullshit. That's dumb as fuck. It's utter bullshit. All the saying is I'm a grown ass man and I can't pick a side. That's all you're saying. I'm a grown man. I can't pick a side. I don't know who to go with. I'm cool with Kamala one day.
That's not what I
like
said.
this thing.
I
I
never
don't like
said
this.
that.
The question is, at the end of the day,
Who said that?
at the end of the day, who did you vote for?
Yo, who said that?
At the end of the day, who did you vote for?
That's wild.
Did you vote Kamala or did you vote Trump?
Listen, I
or did you
voted
not
for
vote at
Trump.
all?
I don't need to tell you who I voted for.
Okay,
but at the end of the day,
cool then.
but at the end of the day,
the only thing is dick riding around here is you trying to be objective.
You can't be an
That's the only being
objective
dick riding.
That's dumb as fuck.
No, I'm looking at one. You
go
are
ahead,
one.
bro. No,
All right,
man,
before we go down, Frank, I do want to ask you a
you
question.
stupid as fuck.
Come on,
Let
man.
me ask you.
You
Let me
can't
ask
pick a
a real
side
question.
because you can't grow a ball.
Hold on,
You
hold on,
on
Frank.
one side.
Let
Be on
me
one
ask you a
side
question,
or
Frank.
not. But
Let me
otherwise,
ask you a
You
question.
stupid as fuck.
what the fuck Trump want to do?
Wait,
Ain't
let
none
me ask
of
you a
us
question, man.
I'm listening to Pain, bro.
Let me ask you a question here.
Maybe you might learn something.
I'm listening to Pain. Shut the fuck up.
Tell me this though, Frank. Tell me, what did you see? I mean, being objective, how objective were you during this election? And hold on. I'm not asking. What planks did you see on the other side that were worth voting for? That wouldn't have led us further down the path that we were going with this liberal shit.
I didn't. That's
Payne,
why
that's not his issue that he's trying to say. Payne, your issue is saying that we're not objective to Trump, right? Is that what you're saying? Like you just see us?
I didn't say that. He's saying that.
That's what I'm saying, Frank. You saying we're not objective to what's going on?
What I'm saying is this, bro. I'm saying is it's cool to have a political show and shit like that because people gonna talk about what they talk about. But even like, and I get like not every we're not gonna be able to move the needle at all, right? As far as us talking on the Our Pain show right now, like it maybe like there might be one or two people who might be like, hey man, I really fuck with Trey, man. Okay, what he's saying is popping. Oh man, I really fuck with what you go by 10.
10,
so
yes.
So like people might be like, oh yeah, I really fuck with him. You know what I'm saysaying? And Brody, I can't see your name because I'm on my phone right now, but it might be
100 watts.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like people I fuck with him, you know what I'm saying? And that's so there might be people that just be like, yo, man, okay, I like what they saying, Like, let me go do my research, all right, cool. So what he was saying was right, and then it may move the needle in a sense where they might say, I'm rocking with them. I'm rocking with that movement. I think maybe I do fall more conservative, or maybe I am more of a progressive, or whatever the case, right? So it may help out that way. But it's cool. It's like for me, it's cool when you see somebody who even like you have a bunch of shows where you're gonna big them up. So like Candace Owens, but then like now she didn't like the whole Harvard shit, right?
Right. I agree with her. I agree with her.
And so she was like, yeah, and she has a big following, of course, right? Yeah. So she's like, yo,
she's conservative. And
yeah,
she's wrong. And I'm telling you, as a conservative, she's wrong on that because you can't expect to.
Hold on.
My opinion is you can't accept funding as a school, but still preach what you want to preach. So
that's not true, actually.
So you're private when you want to be, but then you public whenever
you gotta say it correctly. Go ahead, Frank. Finish what you're gonna say because you gotta say it correctly, Tan. Listen, Harvard doesn't deserve. They're not entitled to public funds. They're not entitled. So that entitlement, I don't agree with Trump trying to tell them how to teach people, but they're not entitled. They're not entitled. They're not entitled to public funds. They're tax free. They're 501c corporation. Yes. They're tax exempt. They ain't entitled to our taxpayer money.
Payne, have you ever had an investor?
So hold on.
If somebody invests in your company, are they not going to tell you how they want things done?
Trey, hold on.
But there's a fine line, right? So they could. You're right. But you could reject the money if they're asking for shit that you don't want to comply with.
Rejecting the money?
Okay.
Hold on. They want to do what the fuck they want to do and take the money.
Payne, can we have a conversation? So you came up here saying that we were glazing Trump and just having an echo chamber. How is this right here an echo chamber?
Now it's not because I came up here.
No, Frank. We would have got on this conversation.
Because I came up here. Listen, Payne is Payne is my our Payne is my guy, and so he knows already. I be having just smoke for
So
him.
you bring your ass up here, man.
But Payne is my guy. But my whole point was this though. And I can say my bad for talking shit because like I just love talking shit. So what the reason why I was saying that shit was because you know what I'm saying. Candace, she was a big part of the movement and making people look more into the conservative lifestyle and things like that. And of course, like a lot of people don't like her, and a lot of people do, and she has a big following because of it. But at the end of the day,
3 million plus.
yeah. But at the end of the day, when she sees something she don't like from this administration, she call it out. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying. So when y'all come, when people come up here with all this smoke for Kamala and Obama, and then but then at the same time, it's just nothing but. Oh man, Trump is just the best, and we just want to. I wish we all could just get in the same sleeping bag. That's crazy.
Go ahead, man.
Yo,
go ahead.
Payne, hold on right quick. Payne, hold on, man. Like,
go ahead.
Nobody's up here shucking and jiving and talking about what he's done right or wrong. We haven't got to that part of the live. We were talking about blacks voting for Republicans and for Democrats since Lyndon B. Johnson. So maybe you got ahead of your skis, but we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, he got ahead of his skis.
You got ahead of your skis.
2 hours in, Payne, and you ain't talked about what?
No, we're not.
Hey, Frank. Hey, we gonna keep it a bean, cuz. Hold on, we gonna keep it a bean, cuz. Hey, Frank, you know good and well you harder on the niggas that you fuck with than somebody you don't know. Come on, man. Look, black people, we fuck with the Democratic Party, but they been on bullshit, cuz. They been on bullshit, cuz.
100%.
So I'm gonna always be I'm always gonna be harder on Democrats than I am Republicans, just based on how I was raised and the thought process we should have in the voting system and all that shit. Cool. I'm always gonna be harder on Democrats than I am the Republican Party because those are the people I'm trying to fuck with y'all, cuz like I'm trying to fuck with you. And you making it easy for me to look at the other side and say, hey, but look what they doing though. Like you making it too easy for that to happen though, cuz.
And I can respect that.
So in terms of it being an echo chamber, I don't ever really think it was that. I do understand that thought process because a lot of programs on YouTube in particular have that problem. And I understand, like you said, you came up here, you was talking shit, you know what I'm saying? You was ready to pop your shit and you fuck with Payne, so you was ready to talk shit on
the title of this whole live is The Rise of the Conservative.
But
our Payne, during Trump's election, did I have smoke for him when we was on these panels?
Oh yeah, of course.
I had a ton of smoke for Trump while he was running for president. Things I liked and things I didn't like. But I'm not going to come up here every show and say these are the things that I don't like about him. At the end of the day, I cast my vote, which means that whether I like it or not, he's going to. I just talked about him his defense secretary renaming the military bases. I don't like it, but what the fuck can I do about it?
You said you didn't like it right now.
Yeah, he said that.
I literally brought it up.
I thought I heard him say it was slick. I didn't hear him say it
he was
like
being sneaky and slick.
Look, the nigga don't like it, but it don't do nothing for his ass right now. It does nothing for him. And so what black people like to do, I'm not putting you in this category, Frank, is when a nigga say go right, you niggas be like, oh, but what if I go right and they take a left? But how come it's not like this? How come I just can't go right and smooth to the left side? Like niggas find a way to get some information and gain and second guess it. And so what we've been doing for the Democrats for so long ain't been working. Obviously ain't been working. So when a nigga want to decide to go to the right and be like, okay, what's he on? And he's voting for some shit that's actually going to put money back in our pockets as America, make America great again. Well, you know what you niggas said? Oh, he talking about slavery. No, the fuck he wasn't. He was talking about before we got off the gold standard, how America was great, how our Payne could have a house for like $6,000 or $17,000 and his family can live off of one paycheck.
We're never going back to that.
Yeah, we said that too.
We're not going back to that.
So how was he gonna do it?
We not going back to that, nigga, but don't let one battle lose a fucking war, bro. We're not going back to it.
I just asked.
You said what?
I said I just asked. I didn't. I'm not letting.
Yeah, but we didn't have a
What you making out
conversation.
of- Okay,
We not-
okay, but when black folks make shit like that, you kill the whole argument by saying, "Oh, nothing's perfect, so let me not even consider what the hell they're talking about." You may not like Trump, right? But you won't read this book though, how to make the art of the deal. You won't incite yourself on some shit about how can I get ahead. So that's what I hate about niggas when they hate somebody, nigga. You throw the whole shit away, the whole bath and the baby out the whole tub. Nigga.
Well, let me
So
Ted,
hold on, Pain, hold on, bro. So
Go ahead,
I mean, like, okay, we're not CNN, we're not Candace Owens, we're not Officer Tatum. We got 5 black men up here that was raised Democrat, but now we're talking about why we're voting for here. We could actually learn some shit, my nigga. Because I told you about Andrew Jackson, right? How about you go do research on what Andrew Jackson did to the Federal Reserve? So when you come with me, I'm gonna talk about money. I'm talking about finances. I'm gonna talk about why we are taxing China and why we're trying to get our shit back. Yeah, it may be hard on you right now what you buying, but we got to get shit back to America to where we're not so dependent on fucking China and then making 80% of our fucking military assets. Did your dumb ass know that, Frank?
It's never.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
Look, we was just having a cordial conversation. That didn't call me a dumbass. Hey, but listen, this is what I'm gonna say.
Come in just like you. So when you watch CNN, when you watch Fox,
you
right,
even come in like that. That's funny.
Okay, when you watch CNN, I was quiet when you talk, right?
No,
So when you watch, yes, I was. So when you watch CNN and Fox, they have a label. But how about you go deep depth and see what these terrorists are doing and why China needs to be hurt? Why we need to put our jobs back?
China don't even use them. China barely use anything. China only get like 2.8% of their shit from America, bro. Like we're not doing.
It's not about what they.
Hold on, Tan,
hold on. We rely on them so much, bro.
Hold on for a second, Tan.
I heard about the Bretton
Hold
Woods.
on, man.
Pain,
hold on. You can't just keep filibustering, man. Hold on, man. You said a lot. Hold on for a second,
bro.
I mean, just hold on for a minute. Listen, hey, Frank. The title of this show is, if you look at it, The Rise of Black Conservatives, right? So we're talking conservative shit. And this whole thing about, you made a mistake with China because with the whole point of the terrorists is that everybody's been fucking us over for decades.
And I get that.
No, hold on. Don't start talking. He's trying to fix it. And the only reason why it looks bad is because we're seeing the sausage being made. That's it. And once that shit calms down, I expect the market to explode.
That's what you expect, but that's not. That's not.
It is because they have to print. We have to print our way out of shit. Do you know in 10 months we got to refinance $10 trillion? That's why he keep asking Powell to fucking lower interest rates. Did your ass know that, or were you just watching CNN?
And he's got to do that soon. He's got to do that soon.
So do you know that shit though? Do you know that shit? So until you know that shit, bro, stop saying.
What'd you say about?
Yeah,
what'd you say about interest rate?
Let's kind of tone down. Let's kind of tone down and name calling while we're talking to each other, man. That's what I'm asking.
So this is what I have a problem with, man. You see some shit on, like, black folks will only see some shit on TV and not know what really is going on.
Yeah, but we don't need to get we don't need to get too hot and heavy over that though. I mean,
you a motherfucker, bro.
Hey man, hey listen, bro. Hey man, I just be honest about what I see, bro. That's it. Y'all can talk about 10 months down the line doing 125, 145% of tariffs on China when China really don't do that much business with the U.S.
You're still missing the point though.
They do.
You're still missing the point.
I can't even
make the point. We don't care what China's just what China needs us. China needs us, Frank.
You told me to come up here, and I can't even speak.
Everybody wants to filibuster, man.
I'm not even filibustering.
No, I'm kind of fucking with what he's talking about. So you think I think the opposite side of what you're saying is I think they spend less. I think they spend 2.5% with us versus how much we spend with them.
Right.
That's the difference. What you're saying, because we spend a lot of money with China though.
Right, and then also when Trump tried to, and this is another reason why the whole 90 days also had to be extended was because when you try to go, oh well, we already got like a 10% tariff on the auto industry, right? And then be like, well, we're gonna put another 45% tariff on it, knowing that when you make an American made car, it goes to Mexico and it goes to Canada, both of the places that you were putting tariffs on heavily, right? About 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before it's sold here in America. So just think about that for a second. That means that, okay, so we tariff the car when it's going to Mexico, right? They tariff us back. Then we tariff, then they pay the tariff to come back here. Then it goes back there. That's another, because it's all import export.
Okay.
So that's all tariff.
So
And
cool.
then you come back here to
What's the
sell.
goal?
Yeah, you're
What's the
all right,
goal?
Frank. So here's where here's where me and you disagree, because you're combining two different country tariffs. You're combining two different things into one conversation, right? Because a Ford, and I'm gonna say this, I hope you dumb Americans keep doing what y'all doing, because y'all making my Ford stocks look beautiful right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. My Ford stocks look fucking beautiful right now. Anyway,
Exactly.
that's a separate conversation. I think what you just said, you were combining two different tariffs, right? Because if we're talking about American-made cars being tariffed coming out of Mexico, that percentage is a total difference from the tariffs coming out of China.
No. So that
I'm telling you what it said. Hey, I'm telling you, because as a weed smoking ignorant nigga that's in these headphones, that's what it sounds like when you said to me. It sounds like you was putting two different things together.
No, I wasn't focused. I was saying on the opposite side, right? So like that was just the China shit. We spoke about that, and I'm saying, okay, so even if people agree or disagree with that, I'm saying then on the opposite side, like then before that you started tariff in Mexico and China. I mean Mexico and Canada, right? Canada. But I'm saying our cars, and all I'm saying was our cars that we get made in America go to both of those countries for parts. So sure. but then when you put that tariff on the auto plus whatever was already there, then they said that the consumer was going to have to pay another $12,000 to $14,000 a car because of that. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is so in 10. So I'm saying in 10 months
I'm asking you, is that happening? Is that people? I'm asking you a question. You gotta let people. I'm telling you. Is that happening? Is that happening? Are people paying 12? Didn't they exempt those cars?
Exempt what cars? Exempt what cars?
Yeah, no. Didn't they exempt? And then what's the goal you think he's doing? He's trying to fix all this. You're seeing the sausage making.
So you're gonna see the price of the car. So my question is, so if it's expected for the car prices to go up $10,000 to $12,000, and then so let's just say it went up now, right? Mm-hmm. And then in 10 months, are we saying that they're going to take the car prices back down $5,000?
Well, okay, 6, let me ask you a question. Has the car prices went up $10,000? I
asked the question.
I'm gonna tell you, hey,
they haven't gone up. Like you're saying.
Hey, Payne, I'm gonna tell you as someone who has sold cars. I'm telling you right now, if you sitting in front of my desk trying to buy a brand new car right now, I'm putting extra on the MSRP on that car on purpose because of what's happening in the news.
My boy just bought
that right now.
My boy just bought a Toyota. He just bought a Toyota truck next door to me, $70,000, bro. Like $70K
for no freaking because as a regular ignorant consumer, you can't argue it. If you come in to buy a new car and I tell you this is the price of the car because of the tariffs, you can't argue it. And even if I take money off of the price of the car, I'm still gonna knock you in the fucking head as a salesman because of what you seeing on the news.
Well, people been spending $70,000 for $100,000. People have like $1,000
cars. That's what I'm talking about. But okay, you got it.
I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm saying, are you saying? I mean, listen, you're saying what you project in the future.
No, that's what y'all are saying. Y'all said
$70,000.
That's what you're saying, Payne.
People are paying cars $70,000 for cars all the time.
Payne, that's what you're saying. You said 10 months down the line. You said we're seeing it now. So in the stores right now, when you're paying all that shit for eggs to make you said that you said
it went down. The egg price.
Okay, but I'm saying you said
What did I say?
You guys said in about 10 months that we're going to see that it's going to be different. That's what y'all said. I didn't
He
say
said
that.
wait till the midterms. He said wait till the midterms.
We got you got the fucking
Okay.
guy's been in office for 100 days, and we
Days.
expect a
Right.
miracle. I mean,
But why
listen,
are you expecting a
the
whole
next
buffet?
100 days.
Nah, I'm not.
We got to go by. There's got to be some yardsticks that make sense. I mean,
You
you're
just
throwing
asked
a
him- hold on,
bucket to
hold on,
do
Payne.
over 100 days. That's crazy.
Right.
You
And
gotta
nobody,
You just complain about your neighbor buying a Chevy truck for
Everybody.
70,000, right? What
Everybody's not complaining about it.
no, that's not. I was about to say every president gets judged by their first 100 days, do they not? Every president gets judged by,
what
like,
I'm
so what are
saying
you
is,
talking
but you
about?
act like you got a terminal illness after
There's
100
no
days.
one-
It's just a snapshot.
No, it's just critiquing what I see. It's not a terminal illness. It's critiquing what I see. I'm not sitting here acting like everything is all
You know
good.
what?
And
I'm
no
not
one
sitting
said
here
it's all
acting like
good, but
everything
people
is
are
all
saying-
Just
good.
being
That's all I'm
sausage
saying.
making, and you're making it in more than it is. These sausage making so we can stop getting fucking taken to
Okay.
the cleaners by the world.
All right.
That's what he's doing.
He's
And
only
he
been-
can't over,
he-
he's making individual deals with every country. He
Gotcha.
can't do that in 100 days. It's going to take the next 100 days. You can come back and say it's still fucked up.
I never said that everything was going to be done in 100 days. I never
But
said
you're making
that.
it seem like we're
Yeah.
supposed to have a critique on what he's doing in 100 days. It's only been 100 days, bro. So
Every president get judged off of their first 100 days.
Yeah,
and
but
so
they
what he's
get
doing is a
judged-
good
some
job.
get judged
So
more
hold on,
fairly
Payne,
than
so
others.
Payne, so he's doing a good job. We're
Okay.
gonna settle the deal with Ukraine, mineral deal. Okay, we holding China to task. We don't
Okay.
lower gas. We don't lower eggs. What else is there?
And he's making a
Okay.
deal in Uganda and Rwanda's trying to stop that for their mineral rights in
So-
in the Congo.
So for the
Okay.
first 100 days, he's doing a damn good job. That's it. End of the fucking discussion. Like let's end that. Let's end that.
In the discussion,
No,
because
No,
nigga, I
nigga,
don't,
like the first 100 days. For the first 100 days, like let's end that. Let's end that. He's doing a damn good job.
We don't have to end the discussion, but we don't have to end the discussion. But
I'm talking about
Frank,
I'm talking about that point of
Frank,
100
you know what, Frank, but I still want to hear how your Lord and Savior's on the Democratic side.
I don't have no Lord. I
That's
don't.
not the argument, bro.
That's what you don't get with me. I don't have no Lord and
It's
Savior.
Payne. That's not the argument.
My-
He's not trying to argue for the Democrats, Payne. I'm not saying you doing it, but I said it. I explained it, man. Like the first 100 days ain't supposed to be sunshine and rainbows, and you over here driving a Porsche right now. Like he's doing everything he said he was going to do.
Everything.
He's done it. Now,
Gotcha.
when I mean end the discussion, I'm not mean let's end the discussion. Let's stop talking about it. But what black folks like to do is whenever you're doing something right, niggas like to say, well, they ain't perfect. He got this wrong. He got this wrong, but he got 90% right.
Gotcha.
90% right. He got right. Okay. He held back he pushed back and made a 90-day extension because the treasury market was getting exploded.
All right.
Right.
So the last thing I'm gonna say is this.
That's
The reason why Candace Owens called him out was because she felt like he was starting to infringe upon free speech.
Okay.
He was.
And
He
so
is.
so she was saying that, if you're gonna start at a college, then there's no telling, because at colleges there's all different, the students have all different causes and they all stand for all different things in the college. And so if you're gonna tell a college, like a group of college, it's literally a group and 33 students that helped, that signed a petition that has something to say about Israel. And so they were like, so when Trump was like, nah, like, well, I'm getting cool with Benjamin not betting Netanyahu right now. So like, I'm not rocking with that. So this is why y'all gonna not get this $2.2 billion and all that. And so that's why Candace Owens was calling them out. And so to say like, and it'd be like, yeah, like he, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like we're talking about free speech here, and how that could also impact. I mean, Payne, you really don't got to worry about it no more because your kids are out of college. But when our kids are going to college, they could be impacted by it and things like that.
You don't have no argument up here. I agree that Candace was right.
Yes,
but we might differ on why she's right. She's doing all this because she has this thing that he's doing all that because of Israel. But go ahead, Tan.
And I'll give you a lifeline, Frank. Like I said, we're not an echo chamber. There's a lot of there's a lot of conservatives who voted for Trump don't like how America, it feels like we're always caping for Israel.
That's right. Well, I hate that shit.
So they're not gonna say that on TV, and I'm gonna stop saying that. But a lot of us conservatives that are really conservatives and voted for him and want to see America prosper and become like it was before, we don't like how we're always backing up Israel. And so you're not going to see that on TV, but you will hear that on podcasts or in conversations like this if you really understand and really want to dig deep into why some people don't like Trump on him backing Israel and why we're always backing Israel. So
I do want to make sure we add this piece in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we add this piece in there because there's plenty of niggas like me that hear stories. Okay, so this is a two-parter. One, we hear stories like Harvard, and what was the number you just gave, Frank? I think you said 1.6 billion.
No, it was two. No, so it was 60 million.
I thought it was 9 billion.
No, look, it was 60 million in it was 60 million in grants, I believe, and then 2.2 billion in something else. So either way.
When you say to niggas like me, when you say a crazy ass number like that, why the fuck should I give a fuck about Harvard? Come on, man. Like, why should I care? Why should I care?
No, we're talking about we're talking about them censoring free speech.
That's I understand what we're talking about, not just Harvard. I hear what you're saying. But in order to get to that free speech part that you're talking about, in order to get to that, niggas like me or that was raised like me that's been on food stamps or Section 8 and all that other kind of shit. Sure. Like we not even trying to get that deep because you said how many $1 billion? Oh, fuck Harvard. Plus knowing how much, especially knowing how much money comes from alumni, right? Alumni donates a lot of money.
You got
we not gonna sit here and play like they don't.
53.
I want to say so I don't give a
okay.
I got you. I'm almost done. I promise I'm not long-winded. I promise I'm almost
done.
I swear to God, I'm not long-winded. So in terms of a school like Harvard, I say, cuz we don't give a fuck. I got a school right down the street from me, Hampton University, because that's an HBCU. These niggas don't get no money. We just got Michael Vick as a quarterback, and that's the only reason money's short of Michael Vick as a coach for our football team, and that's the only reason money is showing up at this school now. Okay, so Harvard, we don't niggas like me don't care about shit like that. Like we just don't care.
And I want to make a point.
Well, let me just say my piece, man. You can go after this. Listen, I don't think that they are entitled to that money. If they want their free speech, don't get the money. Keep your free speech because they can't make you leave. Then stop trying to fight for the money. That's public funds.
That's
public funds. So I'm just saying, Trump can't change the way Harvard wants to operate. But if you're taking government money, you have there's requirements that go along with that.
Yeah. But look, Frank, Payne, are you done?
Yeah.
Let's back up, right? Pause. Before we get into him taking our free speech and stop funding of Harvard, I don't want Democrats to start attacking this issue of Harvard when y'all let BLM take y'all money and go buy fucking houses.
That's why that's that, and this is what I'm saying. I'm saying this is exactly why Candace called it out. She said a lot of the stuff that they're talking about from Harvard is a lot of the same shit that now people are trying to act like it's wrong or it's wrong, but they're saying the same shit that the people from BLM was saying. So they're basing the same model off. So now, but then it's like, oh well, now this is bad. But y'all want people, y'all want conservatives and everybody to be like, oh, we support it, but y'all basically doing the exact same thing that y'all hated versus for BLM. That's what she's saying.
But what I'm saying is, like, when more black people get off the Democrat train, stop holding Republicans and conservatives with a knife, but you held Democrats with a butter knife and let them get away with 40 years of just tearing our whole community up and wasting our vote. You know what I mean? It's what I'm saying. Like I agree. This is a good topic of conversation. Of if we back up Donald Trump, is that going to be a slippery slope to your First Amendment right of freedom of speech? right? So this is a good conversation. I just don't want Democrats to come over here with knives and guns. But on the liberal side, y'all was just, oh yeah, BLM, rainbow, and let's paint the street. You know what I mean? Now y'all want to have.
But let me tell you, the Democrats have already censored. You guys forgot about Zuckerberg's confession?
Canceling people.
Democrats already, under threat of destroying his business, censored who could put shit on X, on Twitter, on Facebook. All that Zuckerberg came out and said it. I mean, so the Democrats the Democrats have censored more people than anybody. If you listen to them talk, then the AOC has great speeches talking about what's a bald-headed chick. She actually advocated for censoring people's different opinions.
Joy Reid.
No. The Congresswoman, Alina, whatever, from Massachusetts or some shit. She's got a bald head. All I'm just trying to say is we got to be careful when we look at. Trump wants to bully Harvard, and I don't agree with why he wants to censor them. But if they want the money, they have to comply to something. Now, he should hold Israel to the same thing, right? I get mad when we give Israel $10 million and they say, fuck you.
Exactly.
We're doing what we want to do. So
literally bring their dirty laundry to the White House.
Contradictions everywhere. Everywhere. So, I don't know how to fix that. But I don't, like I said, I'm more on Candace Owens' side on this particular issue. Guess what? I didn't like the executive order he signed to try to get rid of citizens' birthright. I think that shit, you can't change that shit based on an executive order. It's got to go through the proper channels to interpret the Constitution. I'd rather see these fucking guys fix the loophole in the 13th Amendment.
You seen the video? Well, I'm not gonna do it. Y'all got
what video are you talking about? What?
The joint where it was just an interview of him where they were asking him about the Constitution and
when he said you got to see it in full context.
She asked him like, do you? He said like, my lawyer, I got good lawyers and all that.
You got to see it in full context. Yeah. I think they fucked him over because he had to see it in the full context of where he was coming from. Because I don't believe that some illegal motherfucker has the same due process as an American citizen.
But it's been that way.
No. Hold on. They didn't use that shit when Obama kicked out 5 million people.
No, but he wasn't.
Wait a minute. So you think that an illegal alien should be able to have lawyers? And wait a minute. The guy who's paying for that?
Obama wasn't.
Kicked out 5 million people.
Right, but he was. They weren't just like, oh.
They were not going through no due process.
They weren't just like, oh,
those people a trial.
They wasn't just like, yo, you look like a gang member, you're out of here.
Wait,
that's
Frank,
not what they were doing.
People had trials. You think 5 million people had trials?
That's not what I said, man.
I don't know. Process.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
I think
you got it.
I think. Well, it's starting to look like. Hey Frank, I fuck with you, bro. Because it's starting to look like we jumping you, cuz. And I don't want you to feel like we trying to jump you, cuz.
I'm good. I'm good, guys. I've been fighting a long time. I can bark my way out of anything.
Hey, look, man, I always do feel like niggas is jumping you. As I have been listening to you talk, because I'm trying to be open and receive to what you're saying, right?
Well, yeah, tell about the channel,
you did come in a little hot, you know what I'm saying? You was trying to play.
He came in hot as hell, man. He came in like a firecracker. Hey, tell him about the channel.
I have been working on trying to be objective about what you're listening to. So I have, as y'all have been as y'all have been talking, I have been going through Biden's first 100 days as president. So what I'm trying to understand is when we're talking about Democrat, and I'm specifically on this point, I ain't trying to challenge you on nothing else. I'm specifically on this point. When we talking about Republican versus Democrat in that first 100 days, do you feel like one side versus the other has a better stance or has done more than the other or something of that sort?
Do I feel like one has done more than the other? No, but I think some of the shit is gonna be hard to compare only because a lot of that shit carries over from the last what is it, the last administration. Yeah, so some of that's hard to kind of compare, but like the shit where it be like where you get like a Republican to come out and say, no, like right now, like this what's going on with the tariffs and shit and the high prices and all that. When you get a Republican that come out or Republicans that come out and say, hey, listen, this is Trump's economy, like now because of what he's doing with the tariffs.
I agree with that.
Okay, and then you'll get people to come on and be like, nah, bro, everything is great. I know prices are high, but we having a good time spending all this money out here buying everything, even though the price is high, right? Wow to me. And so like shit like that, bro. Like that's kind of what bothers me. But other than that, it's just the fact that like where you'll see, and then when you get like people like Senator Murkowski, she's GOP, right? And she comes out and she says to her constituents, like, we don't want to say nothing because we're scared of retaliation. So you mean to tell me that you're a president and a party that maybe not all of them agree with MAGA, but that they feel that you got your own constituents coming out and saying like, why won't you guys say nothing to Trump? Oh, well, we feel like we can't. Like a lot of us feel like we can't because we fear retaliation.
That's politics, though. That's politics.
So you feel
because so two things. So I'm because I'm gonna wrap up again. I'm not long winded. So for one, a soft ass politician is a soft ass politician, bro. I don't got no excuse or any kind of a bail for a soft ass motherfucker. Number two. President Trump is the first time in my adult life or in my lifetime where I can say that a president is willing to stand on his 10. He is the very first president that I can think of that will be willing to challenge somebody that he don't fuck with. Again, this is a concept of whether you agree or not. I don't always agree with him, but the fact that I can see a president stand on his 10 and go challenge somebody, that's some shit that I didn't think that a president had the ability to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to put you in the conversion chamber. We're going to put you in the conversion chamber, Frank. We're going to tell
I'm good to go.
But I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to mute myself. Frank, do you think that there is a particular branch, because we know that there are 3 branches to the government. Do you think there is a particular branch that has more power than the other?
I mean, they're supposed to be co-equal, right? That's what they're supposed to be.
Fam, we in 2025 and we not fucking stupid. Do you think there's one branch that has more power than the other?
Congress is last, right? Isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, it's the executive. It's the executive.
I was going
to. I mean, they can say the judicial, right? But they don't have no power. They don't have no guns. So it's really the executive, because the Supreme Court needs to act on some of this judicial shit, because I think that the House and the Senate can limit the power of the district judge through congressional. They got to bring it to the floor. They got to vote on it. Look, so right now the judges are too broad and too partisan, and the Republicans were too dog shit stupid to use that power, and the Democrats aren't.
And look, Frank, I don't know how old. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay, I'm 33, right? So
you said 32?
No, 33.
Okay.
So with all this going on, good and bad, bro, a lot of us back when Obama was in office was not looking up none of these terms. We weren't understanding nothing about trade, nothing about tariff. And I was still in high school. I was a junior when Obama ran. None of us was looking at these terms and figuring out what's really happening. Even with Trump right now doing with the tariff, and some people not agree with it, like the left side, if you really gonna have a good argument, you still gonna look deep into what's really going on to where you have some sense of what's happening under your nose. So even if you don't even like him, at least you're becoming more aware of what's really going on with the judicial system, with America, with trade, with Bretton Woods in 1944 with the whole fair deal trade and shit. What happened to so much stuff that kind of stole our wealth as millennials and G's and stuff. So even if you don't even like him, like he's open about avenue of black people really understanding and learning about shit that Obama wasn't teaching us at all, or getting us to think about shit, because Obama had that feel good reverend of let's go outside and and hope the Cowboys win, and that's it. Nobody was really trying to change some shit under Obama, and nobody was trying to change some shit over Joe Biden. You know what I mean? So I'm just, if you don't like him, okay, give him his office and this time or room of at least you learning some shit.
I just think, man, the midterms are going to be fun, man. I just think that I think that the way I see things happening, I'm looking at the market. I did a chart already on how to look at when the market went down, just regular stock. It's already more than halfway back, right? It's already more than halfway back. And anybody who sold on the bottom, they're crazy, because they got spooked out since April 7th. Now we're still not a month away. The market is halfway back. Any bit of good news is going to run now.
Four stocks is at $9.50 a share right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. I remember doing when they had to save the world. It was like just at $1.
Hard money, gold's up.
Look, man,
Bitcoin's up,
perspective is an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All of it. Hey, look, man, perspective is an amazing thing. I have been looking at my trade history, and I bought Ford stocks back in 2019. That shit was $5.15 a share. This shit is up to $10 right now. The fuck are we talking about? And I'm sorry, I'm being ignorant because most people don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now. Look, I think that in terms of this conversation that we've been having right now, everybody, when it comes to voting, everybody has their hot button. Everybody has that thing that they're voting for. Some people that are voting don't give a fuck about veterans' rights. Some people do. Some people give a fuck about voting rights. Some people don't. Everybody has that hot button when it comes to voting. And I believe that for all of us that look the same, we don't have time to be sitting here trying to split hairs.
Yeah, that's
who's voting for what and what's up. We just don't have time for that shit. Like we just really don't, fam. Because hey, if me, Frank, Payne, and Tan all went into the same room and voted for the same person, it ain't gonna make a fucking difference. So me sitting here yelling at Frank because he done did something different than I wanted him to do ain't gonna serve us no fucking purpose.
At all.
Fam. I appreciate the fact that I'm in my 30s now and I have the patience to watch these networks that I do, to gather the information that I do. I have the patience now to watch these YouTube videos that I do now. I appreciate the fact that I have the patience to do these things now. Because I'm telling you right now, at 21, I didn't give a fuck about what y'all boys is talking about. I didn't give a fuck
at all.
I was trying to get pussy and get drunk.
The only thing that I will say to that before I get ready to go is that from like when you were 21, the people who are younger than us right now, those 21-year-olds, those 22, 18, 19, like those people, they grew up in a crazy time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about going through COVID, being like coming of age as like a fucking whole what is that shit called? Like a whole disaster going on, basically, right? So you got the
real pandemic.
Yeah, you got the pandemic going on the whole time. Now, so that's the reason why a lot of the younger generation are just they're just more like, now they got politicians going or like political activists going to all these different colleges, having debates with college students and doing all of that shit like that. Like, people are just becoming more aware, and also, they had to live through the shit. So it's like, oh, hold up, like, prices was going up or prices was going down. And like, I think the younger people are just a lot more in tune with what's going on nowadays, is all I'm saying. Like back in the day, like I didn't give a damn about, you know, nothing but going to school. Then I joined the army. So it's just like, all right, so I'm just like, you know, so that just was my life. I didn't really care because it was like, well, you know, whoever get in office, I'm gonna have to abide by fucking the Constitution that I fucking swore to upheld anyway, right? Like I gotta listen to my leadership anyway. So it's gonna be what it is, what it is. Like you gotta adjust to every leader that you get in the military anyway. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's like, but now the younger generation came out to vote in waves this time. I just feel like they're just a little bit more in tune than we were. And I think that like the fact that they are even pushing back, even trying to say like, okay, yeah, we rock with this. Okay, well now hold up, well, we not rocking with that. Okay, we're rocking with this because they seen that shit during COVID. They seen what happened after COVID. They seen how it was before COVID. And I think that like now they're just a little bit more informed, even if they not way on one side or way on left side or way, you know, just deep into politics. I just think that they are just a little bit more informed.
Frank, if our money hyperinflates, do you think majority of people will blame Trump for that?
You said what happened?
if our money hyperinflates over the next 4 years, you think they will blame Trump? Like
our money?
Americans? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hyperinflation.
If it hyperinflates, who you think people will blame? And is it his fault?
You mean like, hold up, let me make sure I understand you correctly. The money or like the economy?
Economy.
Money.
So like the money started like, so like our money goes from what? Like,
well, basically where like your double cheeseburger could cost $20. Hyperinflation, where everything's so expensive. So would you think they would blame Trump, or would you think they would understand what's really going on, what really happened?
I think that they would. I mean, it just depends like on how this whole tariff thing goes. I mean, like if it goes like a lot of y'all say it's gonna go, or you know, and he's gonna, you know, negotiate these great deals with these other countries, and all of us like, and all of a sudden it's gonna just be like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's back to this or back to that. Like I think people would be like, yo, well, Trump did his thing with the tariffs, like, and it was just like it took a little bit, it hurt us a little bit, but he did his thing with it.
Yeah, because he only has 4 years, short-term
pain.
Right.
But then if by the time he leaves and we're paying, you know, for a double cheeseburger at McDonald's, it's, you know, $5.50 when it was like $2.50, people definitely gonna blame him.
Well, of course they're gonna blame him, brother.
Okay, so as us four black men up here, do you think the best bet is to scream and yell and point fingers, or figure out solutions as men?
What do you?
I think the best solution. I think the best solution is figure out how to make your money in the shit that's happening in front of you.
Right.
I have personally spent the time to try and learn. I'm telling you, I like reading the fucking books, learning how to work this market that's in front of you right now is the only leverage you have.
Right.
It is the only fucking leverage you have.
I agree with
because
that.
If you think that a Democrat is going to come behind this and make it better, you're fucking stupid.
You're crazy.
You think a Republican is going to come behind this and make it better, you're fucking stupid. You better figure out how to work what you got in front of you right now.
No doubt about it.
Of course.
They'll make it worse. And so
see, like, there we go. That we got a new echo chamber around now.
No,
I gotta go.
I feel like
anyway, man, but still, man, that's a good. Hey, man, thanks for coming up, Frank. If you're cutting out, man. Hey, gentlemen, any more last words? Any last words? Because I'm gonna go ahead and sign out.
I just feel like as man, we just gotta find solutions. I mean, this not picking on Frank or anybody. I feel like as men, especially black men, because like our first solution already was getting away from the Democrat Party. Yes. Now let's see how we're gonna excel at that. The woman we pick, how we gonna raise our family, how to have a family in a good economy or a bad economy. As men, we're supposed to find solutions, man. And I just
you know, as a married man for as long as I've been married, I just tell brothers, I can't tell you how to date in today's market, but I can tell people how to be married. Never marry a woman on her terms. She's got to marry you on yours. That's number one. You know, that's number one. She's got to marry you.
That is misogynistic of you, Payne.
Exactly. Exactly. The other way around is outside of nature. Anyway, but other than that, what about you, 100 Watts? You got any last words on this?
Hey, look,
400.
man, I just think that anybody that's not paying attention to the stock market, to the foreign exchange market, if you are not trying to make your money right now in something other than your 9 to 5, then you are going to be someone that will continue crying, complaining about the shit that's happening right now. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Figure out how to make money other than your 9 to 5, or you are going to be the one that loses your job to AI. Point blank.
I put up this chart earlier. You guys might have not been here,
and that is fucking beautiful. Because that 0 to I hate that 0 to 10%. That 4 to 10%.
Yeah, that's
that shit
I
makes
can
my
put
skin
10%.
crawl.
I just
But,
about 100.
this is the way I just kind of looked at it, right? Collapse. COVID was like a collapse. But look how fast we came back, man. You know, shit, from the 7th to the 5th, from 18% down to 8% down, 25% down to 11% down.
Oh my God.
And this is as of today, close the business today.
Look at the NASDAQ. That's as close. So as of May 5th, in
today.
the 52-week high. So today in the 52-week high, look how close you are. If you don't hurry up and hop the fucking that NASDAQ right now, you are going to miss money, cuz.
The NASDAQ keeps up with the hurdle rate. What you have to, like, you may be investing in other stock, but you won't feel rich because you're not beating the hurdle rate. And the NASDAQ keeps up with the hurdle rate. And the hurdle rate is you not feeling, the hurdle rate is you feeling like, okay, I'm still floating water. I'm not drowning. Like he said, just like 100 said, if you're not doing something to preserve your money or get ahead, you will drown. So the NASDAQ keeps up with the hurdle rate. You know what I mean?
All right, gentlemen. Listen, it's funny, man. I've been digging around with some AI music and shit. I always like
whoa. Don't say digging around like that, man. Say pause, bro.
Man, you know what, man? I'm too old. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm old.
You had Teddy Pendergrass and those type of wild singers.
In 2026, we're gonna get rid of pause. Ayo, we're gonna get rid of all that shit. Pause, Ayo, all that shit. If you like dick, then take dick, bro. Stop trying to make me control how I talk because you like taking dick. Cool that shit, bro. 2026.
We know what you mean. But anyway, man. So that's a bad. Okay, gentlemen, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna close the show out in a minute.
Hey, Tim, chill in the back chat for me for a second, because I'm trying to. I want to pick your brain for a second. Chill in the back chat for me if you don't mind. If you're not busy.
Do I just hit the chat button?
No, because he's about to end the stream.
I'm not gonna end it right now. I always end it with my tune, my AI too. So you go in the back chat and short. You got like maybe 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Back chat, what a back chat.
Once he ends what he doing, he's gonna end the stream. Just chill you at. I just want to poke your brain real quick.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, man, but you know what, man? I can't leave y'all up here, man, in the back. Can I leave y'all up here in the back? I don't know.
So if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, so you can drop us down, but as soon once you hit end stream, just pull us back up real quick. I just want to chop it with Tam for a quick second, and then we're gonna get out the way.
You got it.
Yeah, once you hit end stream, just pull us back up, and then let me and him chop it, and I'll get out your way.
We got it. We got it.
In a world where the truth stands tall and clear, we rise with a vision breaking through the fear. Voices of the past echo strength anew. United in our struggle, we know what's true. Stand your ground, let your light shine bright. In the age of change, we'll reclaim our birthright. In the age of the new black conservative, we stand Together as a force, we'll take control. Building bridges where division once stood. With wisdom and patience, we're a force for good. Empowered by the future as we take the world on. In the face of the storm, together we are an unbreakable bond. Hear the call from the valley to the skies. In this age of hope, Black people will rise. In the age of the new Black conservative, we stand firm, we're unapologetic. With love in our hearts, faith in our soul. Together as a force, we'll take control. This is our time. Hear us roar. In the age of change, we'll